everybody, and welcome to Jimmy John's Field for another matchup between the Utica Unicorns and the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Alongside Jason Ross Jr., I'm Jenna Rose. Here it is classic rock night at the park, which is very fitting given that the Woodward Dream Cruise is going on, Jason, and I feel like that's just the kind of entity in the music that really represents everything that's going on here in the city today. It's going to be a clash of the Coles. We have Cole Stanton, the right-hander, taking the mound for the Beavers, and for the Unicorns, it's going to be lefty Colton Williams.
Yeah, should be a fun matchup today between these two teams that have nearly opposite records entering this Saturday night. On the Utica side of things, Colton Williams, as you mentioned there, a lefty who's making just his fourth start of the season today due to a nagging injury that kept him out for the entire month of July. When you examine Williams so far this season, just 3 innings max. So trying to get him back to a point where he's given you maybe 5-6 innings down the stretch and into the playoffs when September rolls around. Goal number 2 for Williams is cranking the fastball velocity back up to where it resided during his college days at Oklahoma Arts and Sciences. That was more in the 88 to 90 range. Right now we're seeing him hovering in the mid-80s when it comes to that fastball. You examine the rest of Williams' arsenal. His curveball is the second most prominent pitch, tends to draw quite a few swings and misses with that weapon, and then the slider and change are 2 pitches that he'll sprinkle in every now and then as well. But at the end of the day, trying to keep a Beavers lineup that only scored 1 run on Thursday against the Hoppers quiet, and then Cole Stanton just making his first start of the year.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. The right-hander taking the mound today has 22 1/3 innings of work under his belt. As you mentioned, it's something typically where he's coming out of the bullpen, but during that stretch, he's been able to strike out 23 batters. Really going to see the utilization of that fastball-slider combination. That's something we saw a lot of during last night's game, but really what we're going to have to be looking out for is the implementation of that slider. Typically uses it equally amongst left-handed and right-handed batters, and will sprinkle on that changeup every now and again. Now, Jason, let's take a look at that lineup for the away team today in the Utica Unicorns.
Donovan Curiel in the leadoff spot and playing shortstop. Drew Galassi will bat second as the Unicorns shake it up at the top and playing in center field. Colby Johnson will bat third and play in right field. John Pitchman gets the start at first base. He'll bat the cleanup spot. Tucker Rayburn batting fifth and doing the catching today. Noah Childress will have the DH role and bat sixth. Into the bottom third now, Kevin Lambert will play the hot corner and bat seventh, while Frankie Luxka bats eighth and plays in left field. John Hodo moves back down to the 9 spot where he has been very good this season. He'll also play at second base.
Patrolling center field and leading off for the Beavers is going to be Connor Bagneski. Batting second, one of the newer additions, is shortstop Eric Santiago. Batting third in right field is Christian LeBoy. Batting fourth will be Roy Verdejo out in left field. Out at second base, batting fifth will be Keyshawn Lynch. Batting sixth out at first base will be Ron Williams Jr. Batting seventh will be Collier Rutledge. He will be the designated hitter today for the Beavers. And to round out that lineup will be Nefi Mercedes manning the hot corner, and Tyler Blom, who will be catching. You will not want to miss today's matchup. We'll see you during game time.
Stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time. Having a good time. A shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, go, go. There's no stopping me. No stopping, no stopping. Oh!
Throughout your life, From big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
So I was snowboarding in Lach, Switzerland at a snowboard competition, and I did basically 2 flips and 1 rotation coming out of it.
David had a bad
What'd
injury
you
to
say?
his shoulder and unfortunately was unable to.
Oh, yeah, you want to be closer. There you go.
Like to do sports-wise.
I knew I was going to be out of commission for a little bit.
We were able to do surgery, do
Guys,
this arthroscopically, do this outpatient.
Let's
minimally
do this.
invasive.
The sports medicine team at Ascension, Michigan really helped me get back to soccer and working out, but also my main goal, competing at a global snowboarding competition.
Welcome into the USPBL Network on a beautiful Saturday evening. Welcoming you inside our booth alongside former Lawrence Tech outfielder Jenna Rose. I'm Jason Ross Jr. Absolute pleasure to have you alongside us tonight. The Unicorns and Beavers as we head down the final stretch of the season. 2 teams with nearly opposite records going head-to-head. Beavers at 11-20 on the season. Unicorns at 19-11. To give you the rundown for today on the lineups, when you examine the Unicorns, leading off, it'll be Donovan Curiel playing shortstop. Drew Galassi batting second and playing in center field. Colby Johnson will bat third and play in right field. John Pitchman does the cleanup hitting today for the Unicorns, playing at first base. Tucker Rayburn will bat fifth and do the catching. Noah Childress in the DH role will bat sixth. Kevin Lambert to kick off the bottom third of the order will play at third base and bat seventh. Frankie Luxka will bat eighth and playing in left field. John Hodo rounds out the lineup. He'll play in second base. We'd like to take this moment to thank our proud sponsors, Macomb County Chamber, Greater Voice, Greater Connections, AAA, Ascension, Belfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, DTE, Fifth Third Bank, Jimmy John's Gourmet Sandwiches, Macomb Community College, Education, Enrichment, Economic Development, Discover, Connect, Advance. McLaren Macomb, Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers, Chevy drives the Motor City. Pepsi, Scott's, let's get to the yard. Valpak, UWM United Wholesale Mortgage, the #1 wholesale lender in the nation. Again, should be a fun one today. To flip the script over to the Beavers lineup, Connor Bagnetsky will play in center field and lead off. Eric Santiago at shortstop, he'll bat second. Christian LeBoy will be in right field and bat third. Roy Verdejo will do the cleanup hitting and play in left field. Keyshawn Lynch will bat fifth and play at second base. Ron Williams Jr. will bat first and bat sixth. Collier Rutledge doing the DHing today. He'll bat seventh. Nefi Mercedes will play at third base and bat eighth. Tyler Blom does the catching. We will step aside momentarily on the USPBL Network. The Saturday night action is coming your way on the other side of the break.
about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Attention, Michigan, there is...
Right-hander on the mound, Cole Stanton for the Beavers today. G shifting
Michigan,
into
there
a
is
different role.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing him come into the starter role today. First time here for the USPBL. Previously, we've seen him out of the pen, and what's really worked for him is that he's been a two-pitch guy, really relying on that fastball and his slider. So really curious to see how he performs here today during this start. Really looking to see how deep he can go into the game. It's going to be crucial for him to incorporate his changeup as well to keep batters off balance and give a different look, because at this level, Jason, you want to incorporate different pitches to keep opposing batters off balance and hopefully get to the next level.
All 22 innings pitched that you see on the graphic there have come out of the bullpen so far for Cole Stanton. He will be opposite of left-hander Colton Williams for the Unicorns today, which should be a fun matchup. But again, the Beavers trying to climb up the standings and gear up for some momentum as we head down the final stretch of the season here. Final month, final full month until September rolls around and the playoffs arrive. Beavers coming off a 6-1 loss to Eastside on Thursday. Had Friday off. This is one of 5 remaining games in the regular season for both of these teams. And Utica enters today with the best record in the USPBL at 19-11. Again, they are the away team today. Donovan Curiel will lead off, followed by Drew Galassi and Colby Johnson as manager Jim Essian shakes up the lineup.
This is definitely going to be a welcome challenge for Stanton going up against one of the more potent offenses here in this league. It's really interesting, even in previous conversations that we've had with Beavers pitcher A.J. Coleman, Jason, he would get excited to face the Utica Unicorns because those are the bats that you typically see at the top of the league when we look at the standings, the league leaders. So really interested to see how he fares today with his pitch mix. Be key to stay ahead in the count.
Two natives of Southern California going head-to-head to kick things off. Curiel in the batter's box, Stanton on the mound. And the Southern California walk-up song to give us a nice tune to get this night rolling.
Well, Jason, it's a beautiful day for a ball game. It's really cool that it's classic rock night here. It's also the Woodward Dream Crew, so we're seeing the classic cars roll by. Saw a couple on the way here to the park, so definitely a fun night to be out, but glad you're joining us here on the USPBL Network.
It was hot earlier today, but starting to cool down for first pitch. We've had beautiful weather throughout the week in Michigan. That's carrying over into what should be a fun USPBL Saturday night.
Sure, the rain will poke its head in at some point in the following weeks here, Jason, as it likes to do this summer, apparently.
This Utica team is the defending champ, hoping to become the second team to go back-to-back in USPBL history, and hoping to become the first team to 20 wins today. Again, entering today at 19-11, a USPBL best. Stanton and Curiel. At 7:04 p.m. Eastern time, the first pitch pours in. A tad high for ball one. Curiel, one of the better contact hitters in the USPBL. 28 singles so far this season, which is second most on the Utica roster. Fouls that pitch back. Count now 1-1.
Curiel certainly has different aspects of his game that makes him the perfect candidate for that leadoff spot. He definitely displays the speed in which we'll see at the shortstop position, but like you said, Jason, he can really put the ball in play and capitalize. Good eye at the plate.
And as you noted, puts pressure on you when he does reach base. Here's the 1-2 to him. Up and in, now 2-2. But that's an interesting note because Jim Essien has really kind of shifted the lineup around today. We've seen Curiel in the 7 spot, in the 2 spot, 3 spot, but moving into the leadoff role today where Frankie Luxka has been for the vast majority of this season. Here comes the 2-2. That is cranked wide of the bag and foul.
Yeah, it's almost Adrian Guzman-esque from the Mammoths, their shortstop, because he's someone, when he gives you a professional at bat, you can plug him in virtually at any spot in the lineup, and they're still going to be able to give you quality at bats.
Love that comparison because both of those guys are just consummate pros for their team. Dazzling dudes at short.
Dazzling dudes.
You like that? The 2-2 is high. Counting runs full, now 3-2. Here comes the payoff pitch to Curiel. He lifts it to left field. Roy Verdejo is there today, and he'll make the play for out number 1.
Verdejo able to camp under it out at left, but we could see there quick hand-eye coordination for Curiel. Gets his hands up high in the zone and is able to send the ball just a bit underneath it, but deep fly out. You know, Jason, that's something I always enjoyed doing games alongside you and Jeremy. Sometimes your vocabulary or what phrases you use really send me. Jeremy's, that he says he'll say bugaboo for error.
That's a good
one.
one.
I just lose it every time.
Drew Galassi steps into bat now in the 2 spot today. Lefty swings at the first pitch, as he usually does, and fouls it off. Dazzling Dudes was kind of an ode to my love for alliteration.
Yes.
You know I love alliteration.
It's a deep love.
We're getting it rolling in the top of the first right away. Cole Stanton dealing 0-1. This is cranked on the ground to first. Ron Williams Jr. is there, and he'll take it to the bag himself.
Nice work there by Ron Williams Jr. You know when you're on the right side of the field and when Galassi steps up to the plate, more than likely the ball is going to be coming your way. So you can see there he's ready, gets it, and makes the out.
Brings up Colby Johnson in the 3 spot today, playing right field for this Unicorns team. Native of Lewisburg, West Virginia. Kind of has the West Virginia mountain accent to go along with it. Really cool guy. Here's the first pitch. He swings at it as well. Shallow pop up, and Keyshawn Lynch catches out number 3. A quick 1-2-3 frame to kick off the evening for Cole Stanton. Well, our sweetheart of the game brought to you by Thrifty Florists. Kristen chosen by JJ, our lovely bat dog.
JJ is one of the hardest workers I know.
Always.
Yep.
He did get some rest in the booth prior to the game today, though. We can step aside for a moment here on the USPBL network. Again, a quick 1-2-3 inning for Cole Stanton.
Attention, Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
A look at lefty Colton Williams on the mound for the Unicorns today.
Standing at 6'5", 235 pounds, the lefty will be taking the mound. Unfortunately, he's someone who had a partial UCL tear during the end of his days in college, came back in for the USPBL here for his first start towards the end of May, and it was really starting to bother him, so he took the time off, was able to work with our development staff here in the league and get back in shape. The first time that he came back, he just came in out of the bullpen. He worked 1 inning where during that span there were no hits, no walks, and 2 strikeouts through 22 pitches of work. It's going to be very key for Stanton to stay in command and control out there. He's still trying to get a better feel for his slider, so keep an eye out for that as he's pitching here today against this Beavers lineup. And what else you'll typically see in his arsenal is his curveball and change to complement that fastball.
Williams made his first start of the season back on May 31st. Today is August 21st, but marks just his 4th start of 2021 due to that UCL injury that kind of kept nagging him, as Jenna noted. So still getting back to a point where he can give you more innings. So far this year, he's maxed out at 3. But down the final stretch, manager Jim Essien is kind of telling him that it's just taking it one day at a time. Each time you get back on the bump, it'll get stronger. So a resilient pitcher throws his first of the evening, and it is fouled off.
Yeah, that first start coming back on August 12th, Jason, that was against the Mammoths. He did a very good job in that first inning, induced plenty of ground outs, but we saw some uncharacteristic errors from the defense behind him, too, during the first, but was able to work himself out of a bases-loaded situation.
Facing Connor Bagnetsky, the leadoff man for the Beavers. Watches that pitch skip past the catcher Tucker Rayburn. Bagnetsky followed by Eric Santiago, the fabulous shortstop, and Christian LeBoy. The 3 due up in the bottom of the first for the Beavers. 1-1 pitch. Bagnetsky cranks it through the hole. A leadoff base hit for Bagnetsky.
Nice poke by Bagnetsky. We've seen it since day one, since he's come into this league. He's been very consistent at the plate, has some pop in that bat, and is able to make his way down to first. And it's a really nice tandem that we're seeing here, Jason, in the top half of the order with Bagnetsky and Santiago now being thrown into the mix.
Certainly 3 of the better hitters right now in this Beaver lineup. Bagnetsky, Santiago, and LeBoy, the top third for Birmingham Bloomfield today. First pitch to Santiago. Grabs the outside corner for strike 1. Santiago, a native of Pennsylvania, as Bagnetsky takes off, and Santiago will find himself a base hit. Bagnetsky will head from first to third, and now the Beavers have runners on the corners with nobody out.
Wow, Bagnetsky looked a little bit surprised. He got a great jump there, but the ball was coming his way. Had to make sure that did not hit him on his way to the bag, but we got runners on third and first now.
Back-to-back singles off Colton Williams to begin things for the Beavers lineup. Brings up Christian LeBoy, who has been far better in the second half of the season. Beginning to find more consistency. Told me he likes his timing of late. First pitch, swings at it. Curiel to second for 1, on to first to complete the double play. So a run scores, 2 down for Williams, but the Beavers are on the board after Bagnetsky heads home.
Curiel is definitely one of the best shortstops in this league, has a very nice pre-pitch approach and is able to work that double play in there. But, man, talk about these Beavers bats.
They're coming out swinging.
Yes, they are, and that's a nice change of pace to see, especially going up against the #1 team in the standings.
Riverdejo now swings at the first pitch, and that'll be the final out of an inning, but a productive inning. Beavers get on the board first, 1-0 after 1 full inning of play here in Utica.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Look at the band tonight on our classic rock night here at Jimmy John's Field. The energy has been riding within that band for a number of hours now. I mean, they've been going. I'm loving our band lately, by the way. Country music night, classic rock night. And you get yourself a show on a Saturday here at Jimmy John's Field.
No, you definitely do. This is one of the best places to bring your family and friends to hang out for an awesome weekend night. Talk about Friday, you see the fireworks, and you get to watch some great baseball.
I love it. I mean, there for last night, I'd imagine, and all of our previous Firework Fridays, the lines outside afterwards can be pretty lengthy. It's a fun night, and that crowd is carried over into this Saturday. Well, the Beavers pitcher Cole Stanton worked a 1-2-3 first. A few contact outs. Here's the defense behind him that helped make it happen. Nefi Mercedes at third. Eric Santiago at short. Keyshawn Lynch playing second base today. Ron Williams Jr., the infield, and the outfield from left to right, Roy Verdejo, Connor Bagnetsky, and Christian LeBoy. Cole Stanton now works with a 1-run lead. Facing the power hitter John Pitchman, who swings at the first pitch. May have broken his bat. Lynch to first, a quick out number 1.
A little bit of weak contact there. I was going to say, when we typically see Pitchman approach the plate, he's pretty aggressive. And he's someone, he has the pop in his bat, but not able to get a good hold on it there.
So Stanton has now retired the first 4 batters that he's faced in pretty efficient fashion. Tucker Rayburn due up next in this Utica lineup. That again looks a little different today. He swings and misses at the first pitch. 90-mile-per-hour fastball. We've heard a lot of pitchers, G, tell us about how, I guess, important the elevated velocity has become amongst Arsenals at all levels of baseball. The 0-1 is another soft liner and right into the glove of Nefi Mercedes.
You can see that's something that just kind of comes ingrained with muscle memory, knowing that he's able to get to the ball if he works his glove down low by his laces, but getting the job done.
Made it look a little easier than it was.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I would have stumbled on that one.
I would have, too.
And I also would not have been playing third base, so would not be manning the hot corner.
You've got some experience at short, right?
Yeah, I do.
Noah Childress. Another pitch, another guy swinging at the first pitch. Oh, Lynch tried to make a diving play. Couldn't get there in time. And Childress arrives at first. Lynch a little shaken up after an aggressive dive.
This Unicorns lineup is certainly jumping on that first pitch. They're knowing they're going to get what they want to see when they step into the plate. Childress, he's been providing some very great at-bats consistently throughout his time here in the USPBL, typically one of the league leaders here when you look through the numbers. A nice effort there by Lynch, but man, that had to hurt.
Yeah, he went down hard, and you could see a good chunk of the outfield grass kind of came out, gives a thumbs up there to the dugout. Lynch has moved back over to second base after playing shortstop for a good chunk of July. Second base is his more natural position. Kevin Lambert now in the 7th spot. Childress at first after the first 5 batters were retired by Stanton. He now works out of the stretch for the first time. One of your keys is working ahead in the count. He's ahead 0-1 here. Make it now 0-2. Stanton making just his first start of the season. All 22 innings entering today came out of the pen. All he needs is 3 pitches to dispatch Kevin Lambert. And he's retired 6 of the first 7 batters that he's faced. That'll do it for the second inning. It's looking good so far for Cole Stanton in his first start of 2021. We'll step aside on the USPBL Network.
I enjoy renovating my home, so getting materials with my Chevy Silverado is a daily trip. But as the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever, it's perfect for all my projects. And with the most functional bed of any pickup, plus the power up-down tailgate, my Silverado helps me with everything I need. Of course, a little assist from a friend doesn't hurt.
Lease a 2021 Silverado Custom Crew Cab for just $199 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Colton Williams back on for his second inning of work. Beavers up 1-0 after Connor Bagnetsky scored in the first. Back-to-back singles kicked things off from Bagnetsky and Santiago. Keyshawn Lynch, who made that diving attempt in shallow center field, will lead off the second inning, followed by Ron Williams Jr. and Collier Rutledge. Beavers team coming off a 6-1 loss to the Hoppers a couple of days ago. Little bunt dropped down, having to field his own position. There was Williams, and he slipped, which will lead to Lynch reaching by way of the bunt.
Nice work by Lynch to get on. If you're diving through his stats, you know he's someone he hasn't been necessarily very consistent at the plate, but he has that speed, and the job is to get on base, and he does so. Here to kick things off for the Beavers.
4 different players recorded hits for the Beavers in that 6-1 loss a couple of days ago, but overall we're trying to get the production rolling, especially with runners in scoring position. Capitalized on one in the first. And once again, in back-to-back innings, the leadoff man has reached for the Beavers. Ron Williams Jr. swings at the first pitch. At second today is Curiel, trying to go 4-6-3, and they do. No, they said he was not. No, they didn't get it in time, so it looks like Ron Williams Jr. beat out the throw. They did get the leadoff man at second. So Ron Williams Jr. will reach by way of the fielder's choice. And a runner on first now with 1 down. That brings up Collier Rutledge. In the 7th spot today, down in the bottom third of the Beavers order.
You know, I'm still waiting for that consistent breakout moment from Rutledge, because we know when he's able to get the barrel up on the ball, he's able to do some damage.
1-0 pitch. Rutledge watches it float outside.
Yeah, Williams is definitely a pitcher that really likes to work right-handed batters outside.
Ron Williams Jr. has just a couple of stolen bases on the season over at first. Went back outside, but off the plate. And the first walk of the game will put runners on first and second here in the bottom of the second inning.
And that'll send up Nefi Mercedes to the plate. Entering this week, hitting
Mercedes has been a good asset at third for this Beavers team. Brother of Yerman Mercedes in the White Sox organization. He's got a higher average against lefties so far this season, just north of 200. Hitting south of 200 off right-handers this year. Lefty on the mound is Colton Williams. Just his fourth start of the season. 1-0 is lifted high in the air to left field. Drifting back as Donovan Curiel makes the call and makes the catch for out number 2.
Curiel going deep into left there to get the ball backpedaling a bit. Mercedes trying to make something happen. Williams trying to work him inside.
Brings up Tyler Blom in the bottom of the second with 2 down. Doing the catching today. Austin Shoemaker started at catcher the other day for this Beavers team under the manager Ed Campanella. Said hi to Ed earlier today. Always good catching up with him. Known as one of the better hitting coaches. In the USPBL. Counts 0-1 on Blom. He's one of the better defensive catchers in the USPBL. 1-1 count now on Blom.
I always enjoy that matchup, Jason, when a catcher steps into the box. You just kind of think about the experience that they've had and how many pitches they've seen over time and the strategy that goes into that position and how that can pay off when everything aligns offensively.
Blom awaiting the 1-1. Blom was excellent offensively during his college days at University of Virginia College at Wise. Became the first catcher in university history to hit 200 hits. Finished with 206 for his career, most of any catcher at Virginia College at Wise, which is a Division II level school. 1-1 to him is swung on and missed. Got a piece of it. Count now 1-2.
At a moment like this with runners on, just putting the ball in play. Matches some speed. Might work if it breaks through the infield.
Blom blown away by the fastball up. That is out number 3 as Colton Williams works around 2 runners on base. Still a 1-0 lead for the Beavers.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. Beavers up 1-0. 3 hits for the Beavers, no errors, no runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Unicorns. Top of the third, and Cole Stanton has been efficient through the first 2 innings of work.
Yes, he has. Jason has only taken him 17 pitches to get to this point. He's going to be facing the bottom half of this Unicorns lineup. That is definitely able to produce. Going up against Frankie Luxka. In previous outings, we've seen him at the leadoff position. Strong ability to draw walks, and Hodo very consistent as of late at the plate.
Yeah, Luxka in the 8 spot today. First time we've seen him there in a public game. John Hodo back down to 9 after he was batting 7th last weekend. But the 9 spot has been where he's resided for the vast majority of this season and has been very consistent in that crucial turnover spot for Utica. Curiel will be the 3rd man due up. Stanton will complete the first trip through the order in this inning.
Well, virtually every pocket of this lineup, Jason, is able to produce, especially looking at that bottom half there. So really to get this inning going, it could be crucial for the Unicorns to get a run on a board.
The Unicorns have led the league in almost all of the prominent offensive categories so far this season as a team. As Luxka, who has one of the better eyes in the league, takes ball 1. His 29 walks are the most in the Utica lineup. 1-0 pitch is fouled back. Luxka waiting the 1-0. This is on the ground. Ron Williams Jr. bobbled it, covering the bag. However, Stanton, 1 down.
Even throughout that bobble there, Ron Williams Jr. stayed down and with it to make sure he could get the out. In those moments of panic, that's when you can lose sight of the ball or the runner can take advantage. But
I heard someone say the other day, no matter what it may look like from a pitcher's perspective, depending on how comfortable the first baseman is on a play like that, always run to the bag to cover it, just in case. Stanton doing his job there. Now working to John Hodo in that 9 spot. First pitch to him is a soft liner right into the glove of Eric Santiago.
solid contact there by Hodo, but at this point in the lineup all the way through, most of them know they're going to be getting fed a steady stream of fastballs off of Stanton, so it pretty much just comes down to picking a part of the plate or just knowing you're swinging aggressively, having that reactionary approach.
And gee, you just completed that first trip through the order primarily with the fastball.
This now opens the door to an opportunity for Stanton to start incorporating secondary pitches, as we know includes his slider, and hopefully seeing a changeup here soon.
Curiel watches a first pitch strike. Again, one of your keys for Stanton today. We've seen him do that more often than not. Curiel lined out back in the first. Oh, 1 pitch inside. Mentioned Curiel grew up in Southern California. He would go to horse races with his family quite a bit down there, along with Dodger games, and the horse racing part of it has become kind of a family fabric. 1-1 is inside. That's going to become one of his hobbies as well when he's not playing baseball. Big horseback rider, says it's kind of therapeutic for him during his off time. In addition to a lot of outdoorsy activities, mountain biking. Lifts the 2-1 up in the air. Bagnetsky making the call in center field with priority, and that'll do it to retire the side. Second 1-2-3 inning we've seen so far from Cole Stanton. That was your 5th third bank third out of the game. We'll stick around. Our kids race coming up. First off, our Michigan First Credit Union JJ segment with the manager. It's hot today, and that cold water looks pretty good.
Man, like I said before, JJ is such a hard worker, and look at him go bring the water. He's giving too, folks.
He is one of the hardest workers in the USPBL. Always deserves the nice rest he gets in the booth after the game.
And we just have to talk about how brave he is. Most dogs do not like fireworks, and he pulls through every Friday.
He is unusually calm during fireworks. I have to say that as well, yeah. You're right about that, Jen. And now we have our Kids Race the Mascot Buzz involved today. The Beavers mascot gets quickly surpassed. Harrison kind of pulled his foot off the gas pedal towards the down the final stretch there. Knew he had the victory in the bag. Again, that was your Michigan First Credit Union. JJ with the ump, and then our Kids Race the mascot.
Leading off the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, the center fielder number 2, Connor Bagneski.
Yeah, I wish Jack did that for me back home.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd do that if you maybe tried to teach him?
You know, I'm not sure. I mean, today we were repainting one of the bedrooms in the house, and he literally came out and had a ton of white paint on his nose. So he's not really the, smartest dog in the pack.
One of the funniest Aussies in the business, though.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah. Love it. The second trip through the order now for Colton Williams is Connor Bagnetsky in the leadoff spot. We'll begin the bottom half of the third for the Beavers.
Dubbed as Pesky Bagneski by Jeremy Otto. Big fan of that name, and he's definitely been a little pesky for the Unicorns today, recording the first run.
Had the leadoff single in the first. Bagnetsky, a Wisconsin native. You always wonder what he went with for the pregame meal. Is it Qdoba? Is it Chipotle? It's either one or the other. It's strictly one of those two things for him, day in and day out. And when he has a nice hit streak rolling, he'll typically stick with one restaurant. Unless that streak snaps, then goes back and forth. Not sure what he had today. G-Year, Chipotle, day in and day out. Here's the 3-0. Up and in, and Bagnetsky reaches for the second time today, this time via the walk.
Next up, the shortstop, number 13, Eric Santiago.
Bagneski certainly can do damage whenever he's on the base paths. We've talked about the power in this duo here. The first two spots of this Beavers lineup.
This is Eric Santiago now, hitting just under 400 through 7 games in the USPBL. And against the lefties so far this year, he's getting a hit just about half of the time he sees them, batting .500 off lefties. 0-1 pitch is lifted to deep left field, tracking back and making the play in left center is Drew Galassi at the wall. So well hit, deep but not deep enough for Santiago. Bagnetsky stays put, 1 down.
Definitely a display of power from Santiago there, even though it's been a bit of a smaller sample size from what we've seen so far in the USPBL. He's strung together some very professional-looking at-bats, and Galassi patrolling center field. We always know that he's able to get the job done, runs to the spot, mitt tucked in, brings it out at the last second to get the ball.
And the power continues with Christian LeBoy, and Bagnetsky takes off, trying to swipe his 10th bag of the season, and he gets there for his team-leading 10th steal.
A single from LeBoy here could bring Bagneski in. We've seen the pop in his bat, the power, and has been more consistent as of late.
Hit his first home run a couple of weeks ago, did LeBoy, which doubled as his first grand slam in the USPBL. Awaiting a 1-0 pitch. Make it now 1-1.
Going up against a former teammate here in lefty Colton Williams.
Both played for the Oklahoma University of Arts and Sciences. 1-1 pitch in the dirt. The two know each other well, which makes for a fun battle. You're always wondering in those scenarios with former teammates, what's in the mind of the guy in the batter's box? What's in the mind of the guy on the mound? Who thinks they have the edge? They were on a team that went 34-12 this past spring at Oklahoma Sciences and Arts. 2-1 pitch. Make it now 2-2. Colton Williams began his career at a junior college, then took a couple of years off. 2-2 is bounced to third. Cutting it off, it's the shortstop Curiel. Long throw to first is in time. Bagnetsky stays put at second base.
Lambert does his best to stay out of the way there, crouching down for Curiel to make the throw. But Jason, that is always an interesting point to see how former teammates go up against each other, especially in a professional setting. Williams said heading into today's game that, even though he hasn't been actively pitching throughout this season due to that tear, he's still been able to watch these lineups and studies the batters. So at this point, he knows what he likes to throw and feels comfortable going to any pitch virtually on any count. And he has a lot to work with.
Verdejo, the batter now. Takes strike one. 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Connor Bagnetsky. Second consecutive frame that the Beavers have been in a 2-out situation with a runner at second. 0-1. Did Verdejo hold up? Bagnetsky will skid her back to second. I'm going to say he did, so count now 1-1. Verdejo doing the cleanup hitting today. Foul is back to 1-1. It was one of the bright spots in the 6-1 loss the other day to Eastside. Had 2 hits, drew 2 walks. Leading the team in hits and home runs in public games entering this weekend. And he's been taking more pitches, really dating back to the early stages of July when he kind of elevated his game after struggling in June. Here's the 2-1. Now 3-2, beg your pardon. Count runs full on Verdejo.
Williams really trying to pound Verdejo down and in.
Verdejo said he was beating himself in June. Swings and misses there. On a good pitch, however, kind of fell down and away, and that'll do it for the third inning. Beavers still up 1-0 after 3 on the USPBL network.
When people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, and everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. To your heart.
Milk, milk, milk. Yeah, guzzle milk, drink it all. Make a milk waterfall. Cookie milk, stack it tall. Milk with no rhythm at all. Make you run fast milk. Stay awake in class milk. Pour it by the glass milk. Is that a mustache milk? Boom, 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 base milk. Smile in your face milk. Go for the goal before you know you going all the way milk. Milky high, milky hay. I hope you have a milky day. Live your best life milk. You out this world, Milky Way. Put you on the spot milk. Question, got milk? Show us what you got. Hashtag got milk.
Again, it's classic rock night here at Jimmy John's Field. Beavers up 1-0. What's been a fun pitching matchup so far. We now have a relief arm entering the game for the first time. Colton Williams made the start for Utica. He's still in, as we know, for the Unicorns. On the flip side, it was Cole Stanton going the first few innings of work for the Beavers. And now Austin Shea takes over, Jen.
Yep, definitely a different arsenal that you're looking with when you compare Stanton to Shea. Shea has plenty more to pull from. You're going to see the utilization of his 4-seam and 2-seam, typically used just a hair over 60% of the time. Can really rely on that changeup as one of his secondary pitches, as well as his curve and a flash of the slider here and there. But nice work by Stanton. We were curious to see how he'd get through today's game. Able to work through 3 innings. Again, bit of a different look when you're coming out of the bullpen versus making that start. You could really get some life on the fastball here today.
He's consistently been in the low 90s with that fastball velocity. And coming out of the pen today for Shea, so a different role after we saw him starting last time he was out on the mound. He'll face Drew Galassi, Colby Johnson, and John Pitchman. A powerful 2-3-4 for Utica lineup today. Galassi's second time up to bat to lead off the 4th. Swings and misses at the first pitch, as he did back in the first when he grounded out to first.
Really looking to see that breakthrough of power that we've seen previously in Galassi earlier this season.
Has a USPBL leading 8 home runs entering today, however, still in search of his first in the month of August. He's quickly fallen behind 0-2 against the new Beaver arm, Austin Shea. Shea's 0-2 is high.
Yeah, definitely has some competition in the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, Felix Abaret.
Yeah, he's tied for that lead with 8. Has really found his power. You interviewed him last night. 1-2, swung on and missed, and Galassi goes down swinging. A good start for Austin Shea out of the bullpen.
Yep, Shea definitely coming in hot. Talked about it before. He has a bit more to work with when it comes to his bag of tricks at his arsenal. But for Abaret, I mean, this marked the second time this season, last night game, that he's had home runs in back-to-back games. So he's someone, when he finds the power, he's really able to send it over. That home run we saw 2 nights ago was an absolute laser over the left field wall.
Abaret's a fun guy, another California native in this league. We have players from all over the country. Colby Johnson, again, a West Virginia native, stepping into the batter's box now for the second time today. Popped out back in the first. There's a 1-2-3 first for Cole Stanton. One of 2 times that he retired the Utica side in order.
Johnson made a bit of a splash himself when he first came to the USPBL, and now when you look at his stats, can really get a better gauge.
Violent swing and a miss there on the 2-0, count now 2-1.
Definitely able to get a better gauge at what he can provide. About 55 at-bats so far entering this week. Batting average of .218.
And Pitchman can provide some pop behind him as well. Another guy who made a splash early on in his USPBL tenure. Colby Johnson batting .218 entering today with 12 very productive hits entering this week. I say productive because on those 12 hits, he's produced 11 RBI, which is 3rd most on the team. He's awaiting a 3-1 and lines it to right center. That'll get down, and Johnson arrives at first. Just the 2nd hit of the day for the Unicorns.
Good cut there by Johnson to get the ball rolling, having it fall into the right center gap. You can see some speed in the outfield there. Bagneski LeBoy not able to get to it in time. That'll send up John Pitchman. Like you said, he really made a splash when he came in. I remember his first hit was a hard line out to left field. And that had some zing to it.
Yes, hitting balls off the scoreboard in BP when he first arrived. Speaking of hard hit, that was a sharp ground ball into left field. And staying at seconds will be Johnson. Pinchman at first as the 3-4 punch, and the Utica lineup goes to work here in the fourth.
Both teams each notching 3 hits apiece. Now it's just time to start turning that into runs here for the Unicorns.
Tucker Rayburn has the ability to capitalize. He steps into the batter's box now. .333 batting average through 15 at-bats so far during his brief USPBL tenure, one of the late additions. First pitch gets by the catcher Blom, and advancing to third will be Johnson. On to second, a free 90 feet for Pitchman. So both runners in scoring position now with less than 2 outs here.
Quick reaction there by Blom to get the ball down. But man, Shea's really been missing on that outside part of the plate, or I should say inside here with Rayburn up.
After the strikeout of Galassi, still in search of his command, the Utica hitters continue to be aggressive on the first pitch. Rayburn didn't have to swing at it. He's got a 1-0 count here. He swings at the 1-0. This is into left center, and it's down. Will drive in 1, possibly 2. And Utica will indeed take a 2-1 lead. Off the 2-run RBI single for Tucker Rayburn.
Rayburn really timed that one up nicely, sending it into straightaway center field. Man, Johnson has some wheels, but again, easy for them to cross home plate.
3 consecutive singles off the relief pitcher Austin Shea, who came in relief for Cole Stanton. 2 out of the 3 innings that Stanton worked were 1, 2, 3 very efficient frames. But the Utica lineup, which has been potent all season long, is starting to get rolling. A look at the Beavers bullpen. Not much movement at the moment. Noah Childress steps in batting 6th today. He swings at the first pitch. It's hard hit once again. 4 consecutive singles off of Shea in this inning.
Childress virtually hitting it in the same spot his last single that he had that we saw previously in the game during the 2nd inning.
Kevin Lambert now steps in batting 7th. Gee, were you one during your playing days to swing at the first pitch very often as Ed Campanella emerges out of the dugout here?
Oh yeah, I was. So, especially back in my high school days, it was a tough transition going from travel back to high school because we would start with a 1-1 count in the Catholic League. So then when I'd go back to travel ball, and I'm just naturally aggressive, definitely pull side. But one time during a travel game, I just kept on swinging and missing at first pitch strikes, and in between a doubleheader, my dad was on the phone and he pulled me aside and he goes, "If you swing at the first pitch again, I'm going to kill you." And then just naturally went back to his phone call. So it's kind of ingrained, but it's a transition.
First pitch is a strike to Lambert.
My dad likes sports, obviously.
You have a wonderful dad. Paul is awesome. Top of the 4th. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Shea must feel good here. Up 0-2 in this count. After 4 consecutive singles. Followed a strikeout of Drew Galassi. That's the lone out in what has been a productive 4th for this Unicorns order. Down in the bottom 3rd now. Lambert struck out his first time up to bat. Here's the 0-2. Floats down and away. Staying put at second is Rayburn. Noah Childress at first.
Yeah, it's been a trouble spot for Shea there, missing on that outside part of the plate.
Time called. This Utica team coming off a loss the other day and hoping to bounce back. again, have not lost consecutive games all season through 32. It was a 4-0 loss to the Hoppers. So both of these teams trying to find an offensive resurgence today. Beavers found an early run in the first, but Utica beginning to find their groove here in the fourth.
You see that Lambert is really battling there in the batter's box. 0 for 1 this game. Looking to get the ball in play, only 1 out.
And we've talked about the 2-strike approach throughout the season as he flares another one foul. Just kind of shortening up and making sure to stay alive at all costs, especially in a scenario like this with a runner in scoring position and another at first. Utica hoping to capitalize as much as they can in what's been a really good start to the top of the fourth for them. 1-2. Nice job by Blom to reach across his body there. Mentioned what Tyler Blom did offensively as a catcher in college. Catches a swinging strike there, and it is strikeout number 2 for Austin Shea. Defensively for Tyler Blom, he was as good as it gets as a catcher at University of Virginia at Wise, named the top defensive catcher in the South Atlantic Conference. He's behind the dish today for Cole Stanton, who started, and now Austin Shea in relief. Trying to keep it a 1-run game. As Frankie Luxka, batting 8th for the first time this season in a public game, comes up and takes the first pitch strike.
Well, Shea came out hot he came out hot when he came out of the pen, striking out Galassi. Now looking to find that groove, and it's going to be a challenge going up against a seasoned hitter like Frankie Luxka.
Luxka now the 7th batter that Shea has dealt with in this fourth. It's been a scratchy fourth. A little more trouble for Blom. Sliding into second will be Childress, and advancing 90 feet to third goes Rayburn.
Runners now in scoring position for Luxka.
Total of 10 RBIs on the season for Frankie Luxka. Again, more often than not, he's been in the leadoff spot this season for Utica. Hoping to capitalize here. 1-1. Clips the outside corner now, 1-2.
Along with the eye that Luxka has at the plate, he's also naturally right-handed, so swinging from the left side really brings that power up front.
That gets past Blom and should bring home another run. A 2-run lead for the Unicorns after Shea continues to try to search for the command, particularly, as Jenna mentioned, on the outside part of the plate.
Shea really struggling to find the strike zone. It's so important to throw competitive pitches, especially at this point in the count.
Tucker Rayburn touches home plate. Childress scoots to third. Two counts against Luxka. Utica 7-3 against the Beavers this season. Again, both teams trying to bounce back from losses. This is Utica's first game of the week. They'll play again tomorrow afternoon. Luxka goes down swinging. Nonetheless, a very productive fourth for the Utica Unicorns. They get 3 on the board to take a 2-run lead here at Jimmy John's Field.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $277 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
Thank you, 3-1 lead for the Unicorns. Beavers trying to answer back. Keyshawn Lynch will lead things off in the bottom of the fourth. Lynch reached safely his first time up in the second. Ryan Williams and Collier Rutledge due up after him in the 6 and 7 spots for the Beavers. 38th pitch of the day for Colton Williams is a strike called. Been a fun start to this one. Beavers struck first, 3 runs in a lucrative top half of the fourth for Utica. And now Birmingham Bloomfield trying to bounce back, a team that for the most part this season has struggled offensively, but at the same time has had their spurts of success. Again, Utica has the season edge through 10 matchups, 7-3 against the Beavers. Here's the 2-1.
Lynch checking his swing there. He's definitely been fun to watch defensively, Jay, when we dial back to that diving attempt.
Even the plays that he doesn't make are fun to watch. And, yeah, I mean, I think sliding back over to second base for Lynch, in his words, is where he's the most comfortable. Played shortstop for a good chunk of July. Can also play in left field if you need him to. This is a grounder inside the bag, and it is fair. Lambert across to first. It got past Pitchman, and Lynch will settle in at first.
Pitchman a bit jumbled there over at first. Ball came in on the ground.
For the third time today, the leadoff man has reached for the Beavers. Ron Williams Jr. to follow up. And getting back to the note of Lynch's versatility, Lynch at first base right now, he has played in more games than any other Beaver so far this year, and naturally has had more at-bats than any other Beaver so far this year. He is so durable, and from a manager perspective, gives you so much flexibility. Look at the activity in the Utica bullpen.
You know, we haven't seen it too much in today's game, Jason, but as of late, we've really seen a lot of pickoff attempts by pitchers.
Dating back to the very early stages of the season, when you examine stolen base totals and would-be base stealers being thrown out, the stolen base totals are just far more frequently when it comes to success rate than players who are caught stealing. Lynch has a pretty sizable lead at first right now. Definitely difficult to steal off a lefty in this scenario, and that's the task he's trying to deal with right now. Williams working out of the stretch, as he has for most of this outing.
Close one there in on Ron Williams Jr., but we have the tying run at the plate potentially. Time to execute and throw with conviction. 2 strikes.
An error on the board now for Utica after that throw that got past or almost kind of underneath the glove of Pitchman at first base. 1-2 to Williams Jr. That is strike 3 called, so Williams Jr. goes down looking.
Colton Williams, he does have a lot to work with in his arsenal. 43% of the time using his 2-seam, 4-seam, just over 18%. Like when you see that slider, curve, and changeup as well. And he feels confident going to any of those at any point in the count. Still trying to get a feel for that slider.
And the importance of being able to go to those breaking balls at any point in the count, as you noted, has been a key part of the vocabulary of pitchers so far this year when it comes to keeping opposing lineups off balance. Rutledge swings at the first pitch he sees. It gets down for a base hit, and Lynch settles in at second. Runners at first and second for the Beavers.
Nice poke there by Rutledge to advance the runner. Tying run is now on first base, which sets the stage for Nefi Mercedes.
Rutledge is now reached by way of a walk and a single today.
Yeah, today definitely displaying why he finds himself in that designated hitter role. To get the job done, get on base, move the runner.
Nefi Mercedes watches the first pitch sink down in the dirt. First ball. Mercedes batting just below 200 entering today. Only Beaver in the lineup batting over 300 is Connor Bagnetsky. There's a strike called. Tyler Blom on deck in the 9 spot. The catcher for the Beavers. Strike 2, count now 1-2.
Williams still navigating his way back after that pesky injury. Seems to be on a good pace so far.
That was something we were examining today with Williams. This is the longest outing of the year so far for him at a total of 3 1/3 innings pitched. Hadn't seen him go longer than 3 total innings dating back to that first start on May 31st. Had a couple after that, but missed the entire month of July after what was initially in his college season dubbed a UCL tear, partially a UCL tear. And it just kind of kept nagging him. So this is actually, on August 21st, just his 4th start of the year. A pitcher who was looked at entering the season as someone who could be a key cog in this starting rotation and very well could still be down the stretch. Here's a 2-2. It's flared back foul.
That's something that he talked to us about on the phone, Jason, heading into today's game, that in his baseball career, looking back, he's never really had an injury that affected him in season. So that's definitely an adjustment there, but had nothing but glowing reviews for the staff here to work him back in shape.
He said he's taken it day by day, and what he learned during that off time was just how to gel with his teammates. Obviously watched other teams a lot. The 2-2 is bounced foul. This is his first time seeing the Beavers lineup, which may be playing a role in his overall success right now. As we've talked to hitters and pitchers about how they learn one another throughout the course of a season in a league that has 4 teams at the end of the day, so you become familiar with pitchers. But this is a guy on the mound today who the Beavers certainly aren't as familiar with.
Yet he's all familiar with them.
That's true. 2-2 pitch. High chopper to third. Lambert on to first. That time Pitchman able to pick it out for out number 2. And it is a double play. So that'll retire the side in the bottom of the 4th. The double play able to navigate Colton Williams out of a little trouble. And he holds on to a 3-1 lead. We'll step aside on the USPBL network.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. But I'll guess it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Welcome back to Classic Rock Night on the USPBL network. A 3-1 lead for the Utica Unicorns on a fun Saturday evening here at Jimmy John's Field. Thanks for rocking out with us in the booth. Alongside Jenna Rose, I'm Jason Ross Jr. Birmingham Bloomfield at 11-20 entering today. Unicorns almost an opposite record at 19-11. Hoping to become the first team to 20 wins. And Utica currently has a 3-1 lead after they were blanked in their most recent game. That came last week against the Hoppers. But this is their first game of the week. They'll be back at it tomorrow. Beavers played a couple of days ago. That was a 6-1 loss to Eastside. If you're just tuning in, Beavers jumped out to a quick 1-0 lead. Connor Bagnetsky scored by way of an RBI single, and then Utica answered back with a very lucrative 3-run 4th inning, now hoping to back up that success with their lineup in the 5th.
Yep, that was kicked off by Colby Johnson. Hard line drive. That part of the lineup, Hart really being able to capitalize off of Austin Shea, who came into that inning by striking out Glossy, looking. But surprisingly enough, was able to strike out 3. To get all 3 outs. Just a bit of trouble there during that stretch.
It was a run that included the 4 consecutive singles that Jenna talked about, and now Austin Shea hoping to regroup in his 2nd inning of work. 2 of his 3 appearances this year have been starts, coming out of the pen for the 2nd time. Jake Kinney, speaking of starters, he has done the vast majority of his work as a starter, is currently warming up in the Beavers bullpen. First pitch to John Hodo is Array, the command and just control of the arsenal, trying to harness it right now. It has been a struggle for Austin Shea. Utica has come out aggressive when swinging at the first pitch. Hodo, a very disciplined guy in the box in the 9 spot. Another pitch skips past Blom.
Yeah, that's definitely been a trouble area for Shea so far coming out of the pen. Really missing on that outside corner of the plate.
Prompts a chat with his catcher, Tyler Blom.
Luckily for Shea, no runners on at the moment, but that can be.
That did hurt him, though, with
Yeah.
runners in scoring position back in the 4th. Tucker Rayburn was 90 feet away from home plate and scored after a pitch skipped away from Blom. Hodo with a hitter's count, 3-0. There's a strike called that Shea desperately needed. Count now 3-1. 30th pitch of the relief outing. Hits Hodo, and he'll take a relatively painful walk to first.
That'll prompt a visit from Blom to the mound.
Again, it was Jake Kinney warming up in the bullpen. The 6'7" righty who is usually a starter. And Donovan Curiel is due up, one of the better contact hitters in the USPBL, who's off to an 0-for-2 start today. Kind of feels like he's due for a hit. Shea hasn't walked anyone yet, but we noted that it was a wild pitch that brought home Tucker Rayburn back in the fourth.
We've seen some hard contact from him as of late coming out of the pen. This really needs to find that balance.
And for this Utica team, just speaking of their offensive success throughout the season, you don't want to give them any free passes to work with. You have to certainly make them work for it. Blom reaches across his body once again. Able to stop the breaking ball in the dirt. But Shea working from behind for the second consecutive batter. Hodo takes off. He can just slow up as that pitch is away once again. Having to duck out of the way there was Curiel. Hodo advances into scoring position.
Well, it's definitely intimidating as a batter. The thought that the pitcher you're facing has been missing the zone that wildly, hitting your teammate prior for him to get on base. You can see Hodo there holding on to his side a bit.
Second straight batter that Shea has had a 2-0 count against. Curiel watches that pitch float down and away, making now back-to-back 3-0 counts for Austin Shea.
And Shea can throw the ball hard. His two-seam and four-seam can max out around 92. That can't feel great.
No. Well, Hodo looks nice and active. One of the pitches he was hit by was a fastball. He's at second right now, an athletic guy. 3-1 pitch. Curiel swings and misses, and now Shea climbs his way back to 3-2. Again, Curiel 0-for-2, doesn't go 0-for-3 often. Able to stay alive. That may have caught a piece of his foot.
Curiel is mostly one to try and swing at the first pitch. He's very aggressive when he's in the box, but came in with a calm approach today, going up against Shea. Seeing what he's thrown so far out of the pen. Has to walk that one off a bit.
Curiel, one of the more fantastic shortstops in the league when it comes to a footwork standpoint. Does a lot of work on that in the offseason. 3-2 pitch. Little flare to right field. Drifting back is Lynch. He'll make the play. Staying at second is Hodo. And an important first out for Austin Shea.
Good communication there by Lynch and LeBoy out in right field. Still a 3-1 ball game.
And gee, you've taught me a lot about that communication that takes place. Usually the outfielder has priority in that scenario, but Lynch nice and vocal there to let everyone know he was going to make that play. He's very confident at second base. I've seen him range all the way over almost to the warning track in this very large foul territory at Jimmy John's Field and make plays, maneuvering over from second.
Well, that's a perfect point to bring up his range, Jason. He definitely displays that at second base. Can get a good jump.
Drew Galassi steps in 0-for-2 today, awaiting a 1-0 pitch. Now 1-1.
Surprisingly not really seeing a shift here on Galassi.
We've seen that in the month of August, what's been dubbed the Galassi shift. Not a lot of players have seen that so far this year. 1-1, able to hold up. Now 2-1.
Just looking to tap back into that power that he displayed before, as you said. Tied for leading the league, 8 home runs.
In a number 2 spot behind Curiel. That pitch skips away from Blom. We've seen that several times now. Hodo takes advantage. He's at third base. And now Galassi in a prime position to maybe add an RBI onto his totals this season.
Quick reaction there by Galassi, staying on his toes to get out of the way. Hodo capitalizes at second.
Because of Galassi's offensive ability, his bat has been in the lineup throughout the course of the season, and his defensive ability in center field. He and Curiel in the 1 and 2 spots today are the only two Unicorns who have played in all 32 games. Here's the 3-1 pitch, taken low, and Galassi reaches by way of a walk.
Runners on first and third now for the Unicorns, and stepping up to the box is the man who got it all started back in the fourth.
Well, that might be the end of Austin Shea's relief appearance. He does indeed hand the ball to his manager, Ed Campanella, and the 6'7" Jake Kinney will jog his way in for a relief outing on the Beavers side of things, hoping to keep it a 2-run game when we come back on the USPBL network.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $277 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Native of Zyfersville, Florida, Jake Kinney stepping atop the bump in this fifth inning, G.
Well, Kinney has previously found success against this Unicorns lineup, recording the fourth no-hitter in USPBL history against the Unicorns. Steps in today with the utilization of his four-seam fastball, curve, slider, and changeup, and very interested to see what he goes to. He's someone in previous conversations that we've had with him, Jason, really talks about the strategic aspect of being a pitcher and someone who really takes the time to study the opposing batters.
He's a cerebral guy. You can just instantly feel how just much of a, I guess, knowledgeable approach he carries into the game, the studying ahead of time. Loves to play any sort of board game that involves strategy during his off time, and that kind of translates over to baseball for him. And touching back on the arsenal, heavy fastball usage. So for him, when he's locating that pitch, tends to have success. 12 strikeouts in that no-hitter against Utica. And Jenna mentioned was the fourth no-hitter in USPBL history.
Yeah, and during that outing, he said he relied on that fastball over 80% of the time. Steady feeds the Unicorns, and it was just so funny because he literally had the stats out in front of him from that game to chat with us about it.
Right as we were talking to him, he already had him out from his pre-morning studying. I'm sure he did the same today. Colby Johnson is the batter he'll face in this fifth with runners on the corners and one down.
Just making sure that his infielders are on the same page.
Kinney working out of the stretch, quickly taking off and heading to second is Drew Galassi. So now runners at both second and third after the stolen base from Galassi.
Blom still able to keep it out in front.
Kenny standing tall atop the mound at 6'7". 1-0 pitch is a strike called. Even at 6'7", still not the tallest pitcher on this Beaver staff. A.J. Coleman takes the cake there at 6'8". Some may say 6'9". Kenny's 1-1. Gets another strike called. Work ahead now 1-2 on Colby Johnson. As Jenna noted, Johnson got the fourth inning party started with a single. That was followed up by 3 more singles. 1-2 pitch. Just off the outside part of the plate. Count now 2-2.
Kenny finding success so far against Johnson. Down and away.
Kenny was always a closer in high school and a lot of bullpen experience in college as well. So really, we mentioned that, we've seen him as a starter. That's where his most notable performances have come, the no-hitter. But he's most comfortable probably coming out of the pen. Told us he was still adjusting to the routine of a starter and kind of creating his own routine on the fly. So he's used to working out of the stretch in the high-leverage scenarios. His team is down 2 runs, and he's hoping to keep it that way. Here's a 2-2. Cut on and missed. Johnson goes down swinging. The first strikeout of the relief appearance for Jake Kinney, who again had 12 strikeouts next to his name in that no-hitter against Utica a few weeks back.
Kenny, too, comes in with that catching experience. Literally grew out of that position.
Yeah, that was funny.
The latter days of his high school career.
Said his knees were starting to bother him. 6'7". Enjoyed catching, but really wanted to crack at pitching. Had played different infield positions as well.
So that really has to bring confidence if you're Campanella, knowing that he has that understanding and is able to communicate with his catchers on the game plan.
First pitch to John Pinchman is swung on and missed. Kenny didn't start pitching in a full-time role until really senior year of high school. A travel coach by the name of Jim Austin, who played for the Brewers, took notice of Jake's arm as a junior in high school. Then in his senior year, he started asking the coaches, hey, can I pitch more often? As he's ahead now 0-2 on Pinchman.
Really able to get him off balance by throwing him on the inside. Now working away.
That's something this Beaver staff preaches, is working in and out, up and down. 0-2 to Pinchman. They'll tag him out to complete the strikeout. And a good first inning of work for Jake Kinney to dig his way out of some trouble that he inherited. Still a 2-run game. 3-1 is the Utica lead. We'll step aside on the USPBL network.
Attention, Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. A look at Duncan Hewitt making his USPBL debut out of the pen. I beg your pardon, this will be Bobby Komitas climbing atop the mound. Duncan Hewitt available in the pen, but this will be Komitas. Trying to protect a 3-1 Utica lead. Coming in relief for Colton Williams, who lasted a season-high 4 innings of work. And that was what you were looking for really out of Williams today, is getting deeper and deeper into games down the final stretch of the year as he tries to rehab and recuperate, I guess, kind of claw his way back on the fly from that UCL injury that kept him out the entire month of July, but the innings clearly going up, and that was a very stellar outing for Colton Williams.
Komitas comes in. He spent his junior year in 2018 at Creighton. Appeared in 18 games in his first season as a Blue Jay, tossing 20 in the third innings and recording a team-high 7 saves. Ended up notching 19 strikeouts and closed the season with a 3.54 ERA.
Tyler Blom, Connor Bagnetsky, and Eric Santiago. Not a bad 3 due up for the Beavers lineup. Komitas, a native of Oak Lawn, Illinois. Went to Oak Lawn High School.
Bobby is no stranger to the USPBL or Utica. Spent some time here in 2019 with an ERA of 1.46 through 12 and a third innings pitched. Only allowing 9 hits, 2 runs.
2-1 pitch. Blom pops it up, ranging over to try to make a play as Lambert. He will, near the warning track. That was Curiel, who ended up taking the reins and slid down, was unable to make the play.
Wow, Curiel definitely displaying his speed and range there, and that must be a bit tough going to that part of the grass.
A lot of foul ground that you have to make up for here at Jimmy John's Field. And these players have been accustomed to it. Took a minute to get used to, but it is a part of the landscape here at Jimmy John's Field in Utica, Michigan. Pleasure to have you with us tonight. Utica with a 3-1 lead. Komitas 2-2. Counting runs full. Komita was here in 2019. Utica finished as the runner-up that year in the USPBL. Following year, last season in 2020, won their first USPBL championship in team history. Payoff. Popped up. Lambert on the move. So is the catcher Rayburn. They both run out of room. And Utica trying to become the second team to go back-to-back when it comes to championships in USPBL history. Albeit 5 years, the only other team to do so is the Beavers. Not only did they win back-to-back, but capped off a three-peat in 2018 after winning the inaugural title in 2016, backed it up in 17, and then won it in 18. But the Beavers have slid down this year, 11-20 on the season. Worst record in the USPBL entering today, however, trying to piece together a late-season surge. Utica nearly an opposite record at 19-11 and hoping to become the first team to 20 wins today. Here's another payoff. Blom yanks it, but foul.
Blom looking to get a piece here. Definitely shakes things up a bit, given that most in the league start to get used to the different arsenals of the pitchers that they see. We're definitely getting a bit of a fresh look here today. especially from the Unicorns. And Williams, who's been out for a majority of the season due to that partial UCL tear. Now one of the newer faces.
And we could G. And we could still see Duncan Hewitt out of the pen too, who's another new name. Blom batting just under 200 entering today, but it's on display right now. His ABs have gotten better and better in the second half. So has the vast majority of this Beavers lineup. Beavers are 2-9 on the season when scoring less than 3 runs. Here comes the 3-2. This is a soft liner to center field. Galassi is there for an easy out, number 1.
Easy track on that one for Galassi, but solid at bat by Blom there. Fouled off plenty of pitches off of number 9. That'll send up Pesky Bagneski.
Blom now 0 for 2 today. You like that nickname?
I really do.
You do.
I should probably stop saying it. I say it all the time
It's
whenever I put on the
okay.
headset. Well, it's just fun. I enjoy rhymes. And, you know, he can be pretty pesky to opposing teams.
I think opposing pitchers would agree with that. Swings at the first pitch.
In a good sense, of course, that brings on a challenge. And as most pitchers that we've talked to in this league really enjoy that individualistic, strategic approach to that element of the game.
Bagnetsky, a native of Wisconsin. From the time he could barely walk, has always had a baseball bat in his hands. Grew up playing baseball in the summer and hockey in the winter. Said it was either baseball field or hockey rink. That was the life growing up. Not a bad life in Wisconsin. Went down to Florida for college at Florida Southwestern State before transferring to Radford in Virginia. Oh, 1.
It's always interesting because as a batter, you want to fall into your routine and do what's comfortable. And for Bagneski, he always readjusts his gloves. He'll step in, he'll hit the inside part of the plate, then out, then back in. Gets him into that rhythm and timing and the mindset. Even today, Jason, sometimes when I go golfing, I'll do what I did when I would step into the box playing softball. You know, I'm trying to take a big hat.
Continue your routine even on the golf course.
And unfortunately, I still keep that overly athletic stance. Supposed to be a bit more vertical. You're swinging your driver, but
Really, does it help you out with your irons, though? I feel like your wedges and your irons, you've had some success there. Bagnetsky golfs this one up in the air underneath it to make the play as pitchman.
easy out there for pitchmen. I don't know, it's tough because your habits as a batter, Jason, will translate to your golf game. I was more of a pull hitter, so that affects the face of my club, and it'll end up having me slice more to the right the way that it opens up.
A little more slice than you'd like.
Yeah, too much more. And then, too, because I'm so into that softball stance, bending my knees more than I need to be, that takes away from how fast I can get my hands in there.
Eric Santiago swings at the first pitch. Another pop-up. Pinchman ranging back. He dropped it. And Santiago will hit the accelerator and head to second. Error number 2 on the board for Utica. And all of a sudden, a runner in scoring position for the Beavers after what looked like would have been a routine play to end the inning.
That's why it's important to be efficient, and we talked about it. It was literally during Colton Williams, his last start, that defense behind him tallied 2 errors in the first inning. Pretty uncharacteristic of this Unicorns team. And especially only being up by 2, you want to keep it that way. You do not want to get a runner on.
Kind of a second life for this Beavers lineup in their half of the 5th. LeBoy comes out swinging.
That could be a lethal error, given that LeBoy is starting to find consistent success at the plate. Definitely has power in that bat.
0 for 2 today. Grounded into a double play back in the first. Another ground out in the third. But as Jenna noted, he's been finding the barrels more often of late. Down the final half of the season. His team trails by 2 runs. Bottom of the 5th. Both teams trying to bounce back from losses. Here's a 1-1 pitch. This is cranked back up the middle. Maybe it will be a costly error. Santiago is heading home. The throw to the plate. Not in time. And it's a 1-run game.
Santiago definitely has the speed, making his way over from second base, but talk about that hit from LeBoy, really timing it up. As you said before, 0 for 2 on the day. That was a nice throw-in by Galassi, too, just not in time. Santiago able to make his way in there for run number 2 for the Beavers, only down by 1.
So a costly error with 2 outs for the Unicorns allowed Eric Santiago to reach second on a play that probably should have wrapped up the 5th. As Roy Verdejo steps in, takes a first pitch strike. Christian LeBoy finds his first hit of the day in the form of an RBI single and makes it a 1-run game.
And Verdejo is a bat that can definitely make something happen, has that extra base power. 3 doubles and 4 homers entering this week.
Those 4 homers lead the Beavers entering today. Also leading the team in hits overall.
Turned him a spot in the home run derby.
He looks good in the home run derby. A lot of power to left. Here's a hard hit ground ball into the glove of Hodo, and that'll do it, but not without an error that turns into a run. Beavers cash in on a second lifeline, and it's a 1-run game. 3-2 as this Saturday night thriller rolls on the USPBL network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Three-2 game, Unicorns on top of the Beavers. We'd like to thank our proud sponsor, Bell's Inspired Brewing. When it's time for baseball, it's time for Bell's. We love enjoying a United Shore game with an Oberon Two-Hearted Ale. Official or no? Yeah, there's a great reason to have a great season. Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly.
Kinney on the mound now, coming in for his second inning of work.
Looks good in the first inning of work in relief there. Inherited a runner at first and third jam, which quickly turned into runners at second and third, but then proceeded to rack up a couple of strikeouts.
Thank you for joining us here on the USPBL network. Let's check the YouTube chat here. Multi-Apple saying great game. Jamie Snyder said, let's go, Bobby. Your host family is rooting for you. And Quentin Selway, has Selway pitched yet? Not yet.
Sebastian Selway is another arm we could see out of the Utica pen moving forward. It's been a fun night. Classic rock night. Gee, one of my favorite 80s rock songs was just playing, by the way. You Make My Dreams Come True. By Hall & Oates.
I didn't know that was a rock song.
I don't know if I classify it as a rock song.
I get it. It's definitely a classic.
It's a classic.
For sure, for that era, yeah.
You're a Hall & Oates fan. I feel like that, I don't know. It could fall underneath the category.
Yeah. Did you know Rich Girl was actually about a boy?
Whoa, I did not know that.
Yes, I believe it might have been about his girlfriend at the time, her ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
Who was acted like a rich girl.
Interesting.
Yeah. Made it more interesting than to sing about a guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tucker Rayburn's 1-2.
Rayburn trying to shake that one off. Bounce back and hit him in the shin. Looking to battle in the box. And as we can already tell from Kinney, he's definitely the pitcher who's going to give you a run for your money.
That's a shot of, I think, the kind of teammate Jake Kinney is there. Little embrace between him and Blom. Kinney has the catching experience that Jen had talked about before he grew out of it at 6'7" because the knees were starting to hurt. But he told us from that perspective, being able to watch games, he just understands the relationship between pitcher and catcher. That ate up Ron Williams Jr. for a sec, but over to cover the bag is the pitcher, Jake Kinney, and one down.
Yeah, Ron Williams Jr. has been seeing from some action there from left-handed batters, and we talk about the hot corner at third base. Seems as though it switches up a bit when you have a lefty in the box. He's recovered well, a few bobbles. That'll send up Noah Childress to the plate.
Childress 2 for 2 today, couple of singles, but his first time seeing Kinney.
He's definitely been able to barrel up the ball well here today. It seems as though both of his hits were identical. Line drives into center. A victim to Kinney's no-hitter. Seems as though it wasn't too long ago, but time's flying. Heading into the dog days of summer now, Jay.
The Sunday of summer, August. But yeah, heading into that no-hitter, Kinney said that he knew this Utica lineup was going to be aggressive. So as he cranks it up to 89 there, he wanted to challenge them with fastballs and did so very well. Again, as you talked about earlier, it's about 85% fastballs throughout the course of that no-hitter against this Utica lineup, and struck out 12. So the most important part at the end of the day is locating them. Here's a 2-1. Another fastball, this time moved it towards the inside part of the plate at 91. Fun battle here between Childress and Kinney. Two guys that love outdoor activities away from baseball. Childress, a big fisherman. Kinney, a big hunter. And Childress wins the battle. A single into left off a 2-1 pitch. And the Unicorn is aboard with one out.
Childress 3 for 3 tonight. Finding the gap there in left center. And definitely one of the more consistent bats here in this Unicorns lineup. Which has been instrumental.
Childress making his 31st start in the lineup today. They've played him in different corner infield and corner outfield spots. Probably most comfortable at first. And obviously the bat is very productive and very consistent. Brings up Kevin Lambert in the top of the 6th, the one down. He struck out twice today and watches the first pitch strike clip the outside corner. quickly down 0-2.
Kenny doing a good job of getting ahead in the count here. Very important as a pitcher.
We mentioned the no-hitter. Kenny's been resilient so far this year because the start after the no-hitter, which is always such an unusual start to make for a pitcher, that afternoon didn't go as planned. It just lasted 2 2/3 innings of work. Unlike what we saw in the no-hitter, he wasn't commanding the fastball. Ended up walking a season-high 5. And since then, he's been looking to rediscover the control of that arsenal, and right now, he's doing just that.
Sends Lambert back to the dugout. Third strikeout of the day for Kevin.
Luxka struck out his last time up to bat. He will climb in, one of the lefties in the Utica lineup. Luxka typically takes the first pitch. We had that discussion earlier in the broadcast about the mindset when it comes to being aggressive and swinging at it, or some batters go up knowing they're going to take. More often than not, Luxka has counts just like this, now 2-0.
Definitely comes in handy with that catching experience to know how to work a count.
Yeah, he told us he likes to use the pitch recognition when it comes to his discipline and ability to work counts. First time swinging there, fouls it off, 2-1 now.
Yeah, he said that's definitely his best asset, the ability to identify what pitch is coming his way on the release. Ability to spot trends as well.
Now a 3-1 count on a guy who put a lot of work into his craft during the offseason, has an exceptionally low chase rate, low swinging strike percentage. Waiting a 3-1 pitch. He cranks it in the air to right field. Bagnetsky tracking back after it, able to make the play. And that'll do it as Jake Kinney works around a Noah Childress single. Still a 3-2 game here at Jimmy John's Field.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Look at our wonderful crowd on a Saturday night. They've had a good one to watch so far. Utica with a 3-2 advantage as we head to the bottom of the 6th. And Jenna, it's one of the nicer guys in the USPBL, Miguel Sereno, taking the mound for Utica.
All right, I can't even argue with you,
You
on
can't
that
argue
one,
with it.
Jason.
No.
The running joke is Jason, whenever he introduces literally any player on any team, says, the nicest guy in the league.
Your
And-
imitation of me. I love it.
Well, Miguel is extremely nice, native of Puerto Rico. Coming in and just over 60% of the time, utilizing his two-seam and four-seam fastball. Sprinkling his changeup and slider as well. Really been trying to get that work in with his slider as of late. Really wanting to expand his arsenal and different secondary pitches, and also has his curve, which we've seen glimpses of. 43 innings of work under his belt and striking out 33. And has been an instrumental piece in plenty of games for the Unicorns.
Keyshawn Lynch swings at the first pitch he sees. Lynch will be followed by Ron Williams Jr. and Collier Rutledge in the 5, 6, 7 spots for the Beavers in their half of the 6th. Trailing by a run. It was an error in the 5th that advanced Eric Santiago to second base with 2 outs after a play that we thought was going to wrap up the 5th. Followed up by an RBI single from Christian LeBoy. That's why we stand where we are now, a 3-2 game in favor of Utica. Unicorns haven't lost back-to-back public games this season through 32 games. 5 games remaining on the schedule for both sides. 2-1 pitch. Hit hard to right field. Backing up is Johnson at the track and reached up to make the play.
Wow, Lynch really got some pop into that bat there, sending the ball into deep right field. Johnson has been able to patrol multiple positions in the outfield here for the Unicorns, but is able to stick his glove up at the last second, backtracking towards the wall. Great spatial awareness there and a pretty great catch, and just sends the ball over the fence there for a fan.
Brings up Ron Williams Jr. Another first pitch strike from Miguel Sereno. Sereno grew up in Puerto Rico. His love for the game was developed by way of throwing coconuts into the ocean. He was just mad one day and opted to go to the beach and throw coconuts into the ocean. That led to him heading back home and telling his dad that he wanted to learn how to play baseball. His dad, Michael, played a little baseball back in his day, and Miguel instantly fell in love with the game. The rest was history. Here comes the 0-2. Floats up and in.
Yeah, can't really throw coconuts around here, Jay.
No.
Maybe some pine cones.
I've never thrown a coconut before. I have thrown a pine cone.
It's pretty heavy. It's about half a pound. And baseball's not half a pound.
That's true. .91-mile-per-hour fastball lifted up, and running out of room will be Lambert.
These Beavers bats taking some good cuts at the plate.
Now, their leadoff hitter, Connor Bagnetsky, told me a couple of weeks ago that when this lineup is clicking, it's when we're aggressive, in his words. That's when we're producing better ABs. Ron Williams Jr. hanging in there, awaiting a 2-2 pitch. Now 3-2, so a prime example of that once again on display here. In addition to being selectively aggressive, a beautiful moon last night, and once again today just glowing in the Michigan sky. 3-2 is pounded to right field. It'll send Johnson back to the track, and Johnson got back once again to make the play.
Man, Johnson is busy in right field, can really read the ball off the bat extremely well, almost displays a sixth sense out there when he's patrolling the outfield, makes the snag. 2 fantastic outs for Johnson so far, both Lynch and Ron Williams Jr. really giving the ball all they got.
Brings up Collier Rutledge, who's reached twice today. Last time came by way of a single in the 4th inning. Sereno working quickly as he usually does. Might induce a ground out here. He will. To retire the side in order, thanks to the defenders behind him. We'll step aside on the USPBL network. Still a 1-run game.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the 9th and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the 9th, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Matt Vallon steps atop the mounds for the Beavers. Another relief pitcher that we're seeing today out of the Birmingham Bloomfield pen. Making just his 2nd appearance in a Beavers uniform.
His there, as you said, Jason, 2nd appearance. Some pretty high velocity. Seen him at 93, 94. Providing a different look to the set of Beavers arms that we've seen so far today.
First left-hander that the Beavers have deployed. Coming on in the top of the 7th. What's been a fun game tonight. Jonathan Hodo will lead it off for the Unicorns.
Hodo still in search of his first hit today here at Jimmy John's. 0 for 1 and was hit by a pitch.
You mentioned the velocity. That was the fastball he went to right away. Here comes the 0-1. Blom snares it.
Hodo was able to make his way to 3rd base in the 5th. Wasn't able to get home.
Native of the south side of Chicago, awaiting a 1-1, swings and misses, now 1-2. John Hodo's family said that he'd watched games on TV as a toddler and just instantly loved it, then began playing the game. His dad got him into travel ball. Fouls off a 1-2. Gee, much like you, a big Tim Anderson fan. Playing for the Chicago White Sox right now. Hodo is a 2nd baseman, Anderson a shortstop, but Hodo is a versatile infielder and has been one of the better 2nd basemen in the league so far this year. Up the middle, Utica is very good with Curiel at short, Hodo at 2nd. Trying to get the job done offensively. 1-2, floats up and away, now 2-2.
You're reminding me of all the impulse purchases.
I was literally just thinking that.
In my cart.
A Tim Anderson jersey is on the list,
Yes,
I'd imagine.
it's on there. Otani as well. And for some reason, I don't have a Tigers jersey. Like, I have a Bo Jackson one, but I need,
The Tigers
old school
attire, your
Royals,
team.
Yeah. But I know, that needs to happen.
The 2-2, one of my favorite players to watch so far this season as Hodo goes down looking, is Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette, who the Tigers are playing tonight in Toronto. So if I have an impulse jersey at the top of my list, that might be it right now. Donovan Curiel, who grew up a Dodgers fan, will step up next in the leadoff spot. And the Blue Jays as we check G.
Tigers lost today's game. Blue Jays put 3 runs up on the board.
Donovan Curiel, again, grew up in Southern California. His dad's best friends, Marvin Bernard, played for the Giants from 1995 until 2003. And whenever the Giants would take the trip from Northern California down to Southern, Curiel and his family would go watch. It was a part of his motivation growing up. He's quickly fallen behind 0-2 here in a 1-run game. Here's the 0-1.
High in the zone. And Jay, you reminded me, too, I need an Austin Jackson jersey.
We're just
But
adding more
Tigers, for
jerseys
sure,
onto
yeah.
the list. But this is fitting. I mean, you do need a Tigers jersey.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. And he was one of your favorites growing up. You were an outfielder. Big Austin
yeah.
Jackson fan.
No, it was cool to see someone dominate in the position that I like to play during his time with the Tigers. I've been number 14 since I was, I think, 12.
Ooh.
I want to say I was 12 or 13. I remember heading into my junior year of high school, I forgot to give the size of the jersey that I wanted, and the number 14 jersey came in, because that's like a typical number, right?
Yeah.
And it was an extra large.
Oh, no. I was wondering what you were left with.
So I couldn't wear it, so I had to wear number 5.
Ah. Now, was there a reason behind 14?
Yeah, Austin Jackson.
Austin Jackson. Okay.
Plus, it's a pretty sweet number, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he spent some time in the booth with Dan down in Texas.
Did an awesome job in that Ranger series.
Oh, yeah.
Little light tapper, Nefi Mercedes to first. Throw nearly pulled Williams Jr. off the bag, but he kept his balance. 2 down.
Nice stretch there by Ron Williams Jr. over at first base. And Drew Galassi still looking to notch a hit today, but has made his way to first by way of a walk. It came in the 5th inning.
I mentioned this is the first lefty that the Beavers have deployed today. Galassi hitting considerably lower average against lefties than he is against righties so far this year. The first couple of months of the season, he was batting .354 off right-handed pitching and .120 off lefties as he swings and misses, count now even at 1 apiece. In the 2 public games against the Beavers over the last 10, he's without a hit against the Beavers staff.
We've seen him come through late in games during his time here in the USPBL.
You mentioned the Tigers. You and I ran into Drew Galassi at a Tigers game recently, constantly studying the game and watching.
Yeah, he and John Hodo, and I had to call them both out for calling cornhole bags.
It's an Illinois thing, and they're both Illinois natives. We still certainly admire them, but it's just a bone that we have to pick with them on calling cornhole bags. Here's the 2-2. Full count.
They both agreed with me on the pronunciation of pecan.
Well, can we have a potential tiebreaker? Our fine analytical man, Jake Hallman, in the booth today. We'll ask him during the break. And we'll ask everyone out there as well. Pecan or pecan? What do the fine people think that word should be pronounced as? There are different scenarios for it we both agreed on where it maybe could go one way. You're giving me a look where you're like, no,
we
it's
do.
pecan.
For people normally say pecan pie, kind of like
Right.
Pirates of the Caribbean versus the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Just flows.
I can see it.
Glossy looking to dial it in here, fouling off the last pitch.
And Galassi with the USPBL tie for leading home runs with 8 this season. Takes his second walk of the day to extend this inning.
This entire lineup is able to produce for the Unicorns, just a matter of when they're able to flip the switch. Johnson, a key spark in that, making his way to the plate now. Came across home plate off of Rayburn's 2 RBI single. Pitchman followed in suit, which accounts for the 3 runs.
Colby Johnson has been aggressive today. High fly ball to right, deep, but into the glove of Christian LeBoy. Well, G, are you ready to sing?
No, I think if Jake would like to take the headset,
But the
now's
graphic
time.
is ready for us to sing. Jake's busy. He's got, we have to take the reins here. We're ready. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame.
For it's
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
A look at the beautiful full moon on Classic Rock Night at Jimmy John's Field. 3-2 lead for Utica over the Beavers, heading into the bottom of the 7th. Lovely Saturday night. Pleasure to have you with us. Sebastian Selway takes the mound for the Unicorns in relief.
To the delight of Quentin Selway, who asked us previously on the broadcast, hey, is Selway in yet?
He is.
And he is now in. Diving into what we could potentially see from Selway's arsenal is going to be the usage of his curve. Throws it over 48% of the time. Cutter and 4-seam fastball. Selway comes in with 6 2/3 inning of work so far under his belt, where during that stretch he has struck out 8 batters, only allowed 4 hits, and has walked 1. Be going up against Nefi Mercedes to kick off his time out of the pen, who Mercedes has been 0 for 2 on the night.
Bottom third of the Beavers order. First pitch skips past Tucker Rayburn. Utica Unicorns manager Jim Essien has affectionately dubbed Sebastian Selway Little Big Man. Gotta love it. And that nickname, as the 1-0 pitch pours in for a strike called, stems from, at 5'10", 165, his personality, his will to work on the mound, being larger than his physical stature. Here's the 1-0. It is lifted high in the air to center. Glossy tracking back to the wall where he makes the play.
Nice read off the bat there for Glossy, patrolling center field for most games here in the USPBL for the Unicorns. Mercedes got a really good hold of that one, sending it deep.
We've seen some hard hit balls over the past couple of innings from both sides, but the outfield play has been fun to watch.
No, it certainly has. I mean, especially in Johnson, out in right field. He's made some spectacular catches. Hit one deep to right as well and got out his last at bat.
Tyler Blom comes up to bat now. The curveball hits Blom, and he'll reach first. Brings up Connor Bagnetsky in the leadoff spot. Another look at Selway. That was one of his 4 younger brothers, Quentin, in the chat. His other brothers, Xavier, Maximilian, and Owen, has an older sister, Abigail. Younger sisters, Isabella and Olivia. So a big family. Maybe where he gets the competitiveness from.
Did it say if he's the oldest?
You know, he isn't the oldest of the bunch. But of the brothers, he's got 4 younger and a couple of older sisters.
Oh, okay. Other way around.
Mm-hmm. Pitched at San Francisco State. Was a business marketing major there, hometown of San Jose, California. One of the righties working out of the pen for Utica today. Hoping to keep it a 1-run game. Bagnetsky now with the edge at 2-1 in the count here.
Bagnetsky 1 for 2 today with a single and a walk.
That skips past the glove of Selway. Hodo flings to first. Not quite in time.
Next up is shortstop number 13, Eric Santiago.
They do get the lead runner, so Blom is retired. 2 down now.
Nice effort by Hodo.
It was close. Brings up Santiago, who's reached in 2 out of his 3 appearances today. Swings at the first pitch that he's seen from Selway, and strike 1.
Bagnetsky's been getting some pretty good jumps over at first today. Stolen a base and has made his way towards second. Or a hit by Santiago.
Mentioned Selway's family. For Santiago, he had the baseball lineage growing up that was very motivating for him. His uncle, Sandy Lopez, was a Minnesota Twins draft pick back in the early 90s. Said growing up he always wanted to be like Uncle Sandy. His grandfather, Benigno Santiago Sr., was drafted by the Indians back in the mid-1950s. He's always loved baseball ever since he was a little guy growing up in Pennsylvania. Fresh off an impressive senior season at Cincinnati.
My dad collided with another outfielder at a Cardinals Open tryout.
See, I love that. Because that's so wonderful. I mean, Yeah, I thought it was Blue Jays initially. You
I
told
knew
me
there was a bird.
Cardinals. Okay. The 0-1, and it skips past Rayburn, so snapping his way to second base will be Bagnetsky.
Not that he really had a chance, but he did try out for American Gladiators at one point, the TV show. And he literally missed, I'm not even kidding, Jason, it was like 1/10 of a second for the speed round.
Wow.
'Cause my dad's a pretty fit dude.
He is.
Yeah, he's very athletic, played a ton of different sports growing up, but
Football too, right? I always thought I might want to try out for one of those gladiator shows. You're giving me a look that says, man, maybe not. But,
ever think that.
you know,
No
they used to have
way.
those shows that people would bounce on those large balls and try to make it through the obstacles.
Wipeout. That is not
Wipeout. That's it, G.
Gladiator.
I always wanted to try out for
You're literally
Wipeout.
going up against
Wipeout. They are incredible athletes, and you're right. It's like tenths of a second sometimes that separate those people. I wouldn't probably rank up there with those that maybe just miss by 1/10 of a second, but I would try.
Jason, you'd be too scared to go on one of the bouncy balls for Wipeout.
I told you I've been trying roller coasters lately, and here's the 1-1. It skips past Rayburn again, and a free 90 feet for Bagnetsky. All of a sudden, the tying run is at third with 2 outs in what feels like a big spot for Eric Santiago.
Bagnetsky, no stranger to third base. 15 runs to his name.
He scored the first run of the day. 3-2, skips past Rayburn, and this is a tie game.
Beavers aren't done yet.
Birmingham Bloomfield struck first back in the top of the first. It was that man, Connor Bagnetsky, who scored the opening run. Utica had a 3-run fourth. Beavers answered back in the fifth. It was actually Eric Santiago who just took a walk that scored the run to make it a 3-2 game. And now he watches a pitch skip past Rayburn to knot things up at 3 apiece in the bottom of the 7th. I've always been told that fun things happen when there's a full moon in the sky, G. And it's living up to the billing right now. Brings up Christian LeBoy. A balk called on Selway. So the trouble gets a little stickier here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th.
Sets the stage for Christian LeBoy. Already able to do damage in the 5th. Scoring Santiago. Line drive. Center field.
Drama building in the bottom of the 7th. Tie game, 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed. LeBoy, another University of Arts and Sciences of Oklahoma alum. He was an NAIA All-American this past spring. Dangerous hitter who hit a grand slam a couple of weeks ago, which doubled as his first pro home run. Selway working in relief of Miguel Sereno. Here's the 0-2. And that is strike number 3. So a little bit of trouble as their ball skips past the catcher Rayburn. Beavers capitalize to tie the game on the wild pitch. A fun final couple of innings coming your way. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the USPBL Network.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and a cargo management system that keeps all our supplies in place. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction, wherever I go.
Lease a 2021 Blazer 2LT for just $295 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. Don't forget you can enter for a chance to win $250 and 4 front row tickets to the championship game. Just text Chevy Detroit to 555-888 or visit chevydetroit.com/USPBL for official rules. So, Charles Donovan takes the mound in relief for the Beavers in a 3-3 game now after they capitalized on a pitch that skipped past Tucker Rayburn. We're all knotted up, G, and Donovan taking over.
The left-hander made his most recent appearance, working in tandem with starter A.J. Coleman for the Beavers. Diving into what you can anticipate to see from Donovan is really going to be relying on that fastball four-seam. That maxes out around just under 93 miles per hour. Might see it around 88, 89. Also uses his curve and changeup as secondary pitches. That curve sitting just under 80 and changeup around 85 miles per hour. He'll also incorporate that cutter every now and then. Rare sightings, but sprinkles in every now and again. And the Beavers able to make this a tie ball game here at, I almost said Comerica Park, Jay. Here at Jimmy John's Field here tonight. And Donovan will have a challenge presented in John Pitchman. Made an absolute splash when he first came to the USPBL.
And Pitchman had that walk-off homer to left in one of his first couple of games, hoping to rediscover the flair for the late game dramatics in the top of the 8th of a tie game.
Not only was it his first pro walk-off home run, it was also his first ever walk-off home run.
Yeah, he was beaming in the interview with you after that game. I loved watching that.
Yeah, he says on Friday nights his family and friends will all go over to his parents' place and gather around the TV, watch him play. Isn't that the sweetest thing?
I love that. We say hello to the Pinchmans out there.
Donovan comes in with strike one.
Charles Donovan pitched 5 years at Indiana Tech, took that extra COVID year, was one of the better pitchers on their staff this past spring. Another really good NAIA player. And another big hack, make it 1-2 now on Pinchman.
Saw a really solid line drive from Pitchman, a part of that party of a 4th inning for the Unicorns. Second run to cross home plate.
One-two pitch. Donovan told us he likes the changeup or the fastball with 2 strike counts. That time goes to the fastball. And able to find strikeout number 1. Tucker Rayburn had a 2-run RBI single back in the 4th as a part of that 3-run Utica 4th inning. The frame that's responsible for all of their runs right now. Donovan, another guy who likes to work quickly. Second lefty for the Beavers today. He finds himself ahead 0-2 now.
You can see Rayburn grimace a bit when he swung at that first pitch there. Committed in his swings, though, taking good hacks.
Gee, just curious, though. You mentioned committed to the swings. Kind of break down what you mean by that from the hitter's perspective, being committed to swinging.
Well, from my perspective, at least, I think it's really just staying aggressive in the box. And if you feel you're identifying the pitch as it comes, you're committing to that location. You're committing to the aggression and making sure you try to give a solid performance at the plate.
Another aggressive swing there, and a couple of Ks in the books right off the bat for Donovan. Noah Childress has had quite the day, 3 for 3 so far. Feels like he's been very selective with which pitches he's taking and swinging at of late. 3 well-timed hits.
An NAI product from Lourdes University. Got 2 Lawrence Tech alums here in the booth.
And Childress is coming off a very good spring at Lourdes. Hit .435. And for power and for average, just really consistent all around. 1-1 is swung on and missed.
Donovan giving these Unicorns some trouble here.
That was the changeup. That time speeds it back up with 91, but well outside. Noah Childress has been in the cleanup spot for the vast majority of this season. Again, Utica tried to shake things up today to find some offense after losing 4-0 in their last game to Eastside. Childress slides down to the 6th spot. Different variations up top as well. Frankie Luxka in the 8th spot today. John Hodo back down to the 9th spot. Haven't lost consecutive public games this season. Childress goes down swinging as Donovan strikes out the side. More drama coming up as we have played 7.5 here at Jimmy John's Field. Charles Donovan walking off the mound with plenty of confidence.
Guzzle milk, drink it all. Make a milk waterfall. Cookie milk, stack it tall. Milk with no rhythm at all. Make you run fast milk. Stay awake in class milk. Pour it by the glass milk. Is that a mustache milk? Boom, 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 base milk. Smile in your face milk. Go for the goal before you know you going all the way milk. Milky high, milky hay. I hope you have a milky day. Live your best life milk. You out this world, Milky Way. Put you on the spot milk. Question, got milk? Show us what you got. Hashtag got milk.
Into the bottom of the 8th inning of a tie game at Jimmy John's Field. 3 apiece, and Brandon Krenrich is set to step atop the mound for Utica on a night where we have seen a litany of different arms emerge out of both bullpens.
The righty warming up here on the mound. Diving into his arsenal, really going to see a slider, 4-seam, 2-seam, and change.
Prominent slider usage out of Krenrich.
Seen multiple arms come in here today for the Unicorns. My book has no recollection of which one. My mind
It's
forgot
okay.
to write that down.
It's a lengthy night. And it's been a fun night. Our analytics man, Jake Hillman, rooting for extra innings, potentially. Roy Verdejo, Keyshawn Lynch, and Ron Williams, the 3-2 up in the bottom of the 8th for the Beavers, who have other ideas. They'd like to wrap it up. Roy Verdejo's a good man to lead it off.
Verdejo has been a frequent guest on the Autolab postgame show as the Rochester University player of the game previously this season.
Mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he's leading the Beavers with 4 home runs on the season. Leading them in hits as well.
When he gets the hold of the ball, he can really send it. Some pull side pop. Send it the opposite way.
And Brendan Krenrich, the new reliever for Utica. Ahead in the count at 1-2 on Verdejo. Verdejo said he fell in love with baseball by way of his dad showing him the game when he was younger. Has always loved hitting and throwing as well. Him and his dad would go on a hill and throw rocks as far as they could. 2-2 is strike number 3.
Some kids throw coconuts.
Some throw rocks.
What are you going to do?
You're right, the coconuts could be a good workout.
Well, rocks can be pretty heavy.
That is
Different
also
grips.
true. You're working on different grips. Have you ever had a coconut? First pitch to Lynch is lined into right field. Johnson trying to make another play. And he was not able to, roamed over his glove. Lynch wants 3 bags, and he will get there. No, he will not. Ed Campanella is incensed.
Wow, it looked like Lynch got his foot into the bag before the tag. It was a nice relay after that stumble for Johnson. Out in right field, seems as though he came in a little bit. Got surprised by the distance it carried, but
Ed Campanella certainly had a good view of it. The entire Beavers dugout is kind of emerged up out onto the warning track, and they're expressing their displeasure as well. Keyshawn Lynch kicked it into an extra gear. Thought he might have had 3. From our eye, as you mentioned, it looked very close. Initial reaction was that he was there, but called out. The throw from Colby Johnson to Kevin Lambert at third. Apparently in time. Jenna has the replay up right now on her screen. You're pausing it there, G, as he's sliding in. Meanwhile, Ron Williams Jr. steps in.
that actually looks pretty close now from this point of view.
It was very close. Ooh. Is his foot on the bag at that point? Obviously, people watching can't see what we're watching, but if you go back a bit on the stream, it's one that you can maybe give us your thoughts on in the chat. But at the end of the day, a big moment. Instead of a runner at third and one down, it's nobody on base with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Krenrich's 10th pitch. Swung on, cranked to left field. Ron Williams Jr. will reach. And it slips past the left fielder, Frankie Luxka. Give Ron Williams Jr. second base.
Nice poke there by Ron Williams Jr. Beavers will not stay quiet during this inning. That'll send up designated hitter. Collier Rutledge has come up with some pretty big hits and some tight moments during his career here in USPBL.
So a hit and an error The third error of the day charged to Utica. Remember, it was back in the 5th inning when Utica compiled 2 outs against this Beavers lineup before a play that probably would have likely should have been routine over at first. Turned out to be an error. Santiago took an extra bag and went to second. And then they capitalized and made it a 1-run game at that point. Beavers tied it up in the 7th. Now in the bottom of the 8th. Ron Williams Jr. in scoring position and Collier Rutledge in the batter's box. It's been a dramatic night here at Jimmy John's Field. 1-0 pitch.
2 balls on Rutledge. Count in his favor.
Rutledge had a single earlier in this one, in addition to a walk. He'd love to reach for a 3rd time. As a hitter's count, Krenrich lets the 3-0 fly. Finds the strike he needed as Rutledge takes now 3-1.
We have speed over on second in Ron Williams Jr. A single could bring in the run.
Athletic guy at second, former high school quarterback. 3-1 pitch. Bounced on the ground. Hodo is there to first. So a controversial bottom half of the 8th, and we still have a tie game at 3 apiece. We'll head to the 9th when we come back on the USPBL Network. You do not want to miss this.
Ascension Michigan Sports Medicine, we're here to treat any athlete, any injury that you might have, whether that's at the high school, the college level, or the professional level, or whether that's you just want to stay active and keep fit. And we do that through a whole journey. And you're going to see us for diagnosis with imaging. We can also do some physical therapy, which we have all of that. And we can do all the way up to the OR if you need surgery and getting you recovered as well. There's no reason to delay your care. You can get in to see us just as easily as you can see a primary care doctor. And when you do come to see us, we have all the precautions in place to keep you safe.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
Rocking our way into the 9th inning here at Jimmy John's Field. A 3-3 game. Charles Donovan will step back atop the mound and try to keep this Utica lineup quiet in the top of the 9th to give his offense a chance to potentially walk it off. Donovan struck out the side in the 8th. Kevin Lambert will lead off the inning, followed by Frankie Luxka and John Hodo. The bottom third, 7, 8, 9.
Well, so far this game, Lambert has struck out 3 straight times when he's been at the box. Could be a breakout moment here for Lambert, given the situation. The Unicorns really want to get another run on the board. More than that, actually.
Lambert takes the first pitch strike. Had a 3-hit game versus the Hoppers last week. I asked him about that performance, and he told me that staying in his approach, swinging at pitches in the zone, which he does there. However, it's on the ground to Eric Santiago. 1 down is what led to that success. But there's another quick out for Donovan.
Santiago really making everything routine when he's at short.
Santiago is an interesting story at shortstop because he played it his entire life up until college, then was utilized more as a utility player at Cincinnati. Played everywhere. But he said it's his most comforting position at short. That's where he's returned as a pro and has looked very good there so far for the Beavers. Frankie Luxka, a guy who the Utica Unicorns know can reach base. Early on in the season, it was about finding a position for him. Doesn't matter the time of the game, though. They've always dubbed him as an on-base machine. They could use it right now. He quickly falls behind 0-2, which is a rare count for him. More often than not, he's at least 1-1, 2-1, if not 2-0 or 3-0, because of his plate discipline. Donovan's fourth strikeout of the game, and he has quickly found 2 outs in the top of the ninth.
Donovan making it look easy against Luxka. Has to be a bit of a feel-good moment for Donovan. One of the major threats that he's facing here, top of the ninth.
John Hodo struck out looking his last time up to bat in the 7th. Still in search of his first hit of the day. Again, has just been so consistent in that 9 spot. Late July, early August. 1-0 pitch is lined to Santiago to first. In time, and another 1-2-3 frame for Charles Donovan. That'll take us to the bottom of the 9th, and Donovan sets up his offense to try to walk it off when we come back.
I enjoy renovating my home, so getting materials with my Chevy Silverado is a daily trip. But as the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever, it's perfect for all my projects. And with the most functional bed of any pickup, plus the power-up down tailgate, my Silverado helps me with everything I need. Of course, a little assist from a friend doesn't hurt.
Lease a 2021 Silverado Custom Crew Cab for just $199 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
New flooring from the Carpet Guys is as easy as 1, 2, free. 1, just call the Carpet Guys for fast, free in-home shopping. 2, get massive warehouse direct savings. And 3, free, as in 4 years of interest-free financing. That's 1, 2, free, but only for a limited time. So be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS or visit carpetguys.com today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. A look at Jack Ferguson stepping atop the mound. Jenna Rose will head down for our Autolab postgame show. We'll have the Rochester University Player of the Game after this one concludes. So now joining me in the booth is our fine analytics man, Jake Hellman.
Yeah, Jack Ferguson is going to feature that fastball slider combination. Comes down from underneath in kind of that submarine lefties position. We saw Keon Taylor, a submarine righty for the Unicorns earlier this year, and Jack kind of took the place of Keon once Keon ended up moving on to the Frontier League. And obviously Jack is a left-handed specialist, but even against righties can really force a ground ball with that sinking-like action on that fastball.
The Utica team has a 2.5 game lead over Eastside entering today in the East Division. That's the closest the race has been all season. Again, Eastside is the team that beat Utica last week 4-0 in the most recent public game. Beavers are coming off a 6-1 loss to Eastside a couple of days ago, so both sides trying to bounce back. And the stage is set for Nefi Mercedes, followed by Tyler Blom and the leadoff man Connor Bagnetsky in the bottom of the 9th as the Beavers will hope to walk it off. What's been a fun, dramatic Saturday night. Ferguson's first pitch to Mercedes is a strike called. Mercedes 0 for 3 today. Pop out, grounded into a double play and a fly out. Utica is 7-3 against Birmingham Bloomfield this season. And this is cranked to left field. Hard hit. Tracking it is Luxka. It'll get down along the warning track. Extra bases for Mercedes. He slides into second. Comes up a bit limp there. Began to slow down as he was heading to second. Nonetheless, a runner in scoring position. He pops up with a smile on his face, and Tyler Blom now has a big opportunity on his bat.
Obviously, with the first runner of any inning late in the game, that hitter can determine the rest of the inning, how the inning is going to shape up. So obviously for the defense, getting that first out is so huge. And for the offense, getting a first runner on base is obviously huge too. It just changes the entire dynamic of the inning. And now Tyler Blom with a chance to move a runner up or walk it off here late in the ninth.
Elijah Celaya will be the pinch runner at second. Celaya has plenty of speed. Tyler Blom batting south of 200 entering today. But again, the offensive potential is there. We noted he became the first catcher in the history of Virginia College at Wise to hit 200 hits for his career. Bottom of the ninth, runner in scoring position, nobody out. Blom hoping to make it a magical night. Just pumps the bunt attempt out of play there and counts 0-1.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gave the green light here just to give him a shot to swing at a fastball that he think can come here in this count.
Jake, in this scenario with nobody down, would you also be okay with what appears to be maybe an attempt to lay down the bunt and advance the runner over to third?
Yeah, I think especially turning it over to Bagneski and Santiago next, I don't think that's a bad call whatsoever.
And Bagnetsky has reached twice today. He's on deck. You can say the same about Santiago. He would follow up Bagnetsky.
Certainly the part of the order that you want to see for the Beavers.
And got the ball rolling way back in the first when they took a 1-0 lead. Blom goes down swinging for out number one. Ferguson brought on to work the ninth. One of several relief arms we've seen today out of the Utica bullpen. And now here comes Connor Bagnetsky. A single, a walk, and a couple of contact outs. Reached by way of a fielder's choice as well. He's been the big name in this lineup over the last month and a half or so. Told me he's just trying to make the most out of every single day. Awaiting an 0-1 pitch and takes it inside.
You talk about the nickname Pesky Bagneski, obviously, and one thing that I think is another way to describe him is just kind of a grinder with at bats. He just works out at bats, and it feels like something good always happens when he's at the plate. Obviously, even when his outs come, they feel like they're productive outs or they're hard hit outs as well.
Awaiting the 1-1, Bagnetsky swings and misses, now 1-2. With Eric Santiago on deck. Bagnetsky, the only Beaver in the lineup, hitting over 300 entering today. 345 to be exact. If there's anyone in this lineup who can get the job done, it's certainly the man in the batter's box right now. One-two pitch to Bagnetsky. Grounded to first, backing up his pinchman. Had a little trouble with it. Covering the bag is Ferguson. Advancing to third will be Mercedes. And there are two outs now in the bottom of the ninth.
It's obviously a productive out. We feel like when you look at a ball put in play, as now it looks like Bagneski is upset about the call of it being a foul ball, or a fair ball rather. He would like it to be a foul ball.
Well, umps will come together and chat about this. Ed Campanella agreed with Bagnetsky. Bagnetsky went back to the batter's box and picked up his bat as if he was ready to take another crack at it, but they did indeed call him out there, and there are 2 down to the frustration of Connor Bagnetsky and Ed Campanella. It will bring up Eric Santiago. Again, is batting just a shade under 400 through 7 games in the USPBL so far. And off lefties, he's been particularly successful. Hodo to first. It's in time. So we remain 3 apiece. After Santiago swings at the first pitch, we will come back out for extras on the other side of the break.
People keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Hello. Lovely home, by the way, but it looks like you could use some new flooring.
Now at the Carpet Guys, you get 4 years interest-free financing. Plus, we're taking extra precautions to ensure the safety of our customers.
Be wise and call the Carpet Guys.
I enjoy renovating my home, so getting materials with my Chevy Silverado is a daily trip. But as the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever, it's perfect for all my projects. And with the most functional bed of any pickup, plus the power-up down tailgate, my Silverado helps me with everything I need. Of course, a little assist from a friend doesn't hurt.
Lease a 2021 Silverado Custom Crew Cab for just $199 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
It's been 6 up, 6 down so far for Charles Donovan, who now navigates into his 3rd inning of work and the first of extra innings. We have an international tie-breaking runner at second to start off extra innings in the USPBL. That'll be John Hodo trotting over.
Someone you would like to see out there, obviously, for the speed in the bottom of the Unicorns lineup, turning it over now to the top, Donovan Curiel.
And chatting with his good friend Keyshawn Lynch there. Hodo does have a lot of speed, played quite a bit of basketball growing up. Donovan Curiel in the leadoff spot today will begin in the top of the 10th. Curiel is 0 for 4 today, so feels like he's due for a hit. Takes the first pitch down and away for ball 1. Jake, we hear the phrase not trying to do too much in a scenario like this, kind of harkening back to your playing experience. Extra innings, obviously a big stage. What's going through the mind?
I think it's just get a pitch to hit and then don't miss. It's really capitalize on any mistake that you get from the arm. It can be something as simple as getting a fastball to hit and maybe moving the baseball towards the right side of the field to move over the runner, or capitalizing on a mistake, hanging breaking ball or hanging changeup and just hitting a single. Obviously, with a guy in second scoring position, you don't need a home run to score a run.
We're seeing swing and miss stuff out of Donovan so far today. 4 strikeouts through 6 batters. You mentioned only really needing a single here. Curiel has done that better than just about everyone so far this year. Has 28 singles on the season, which leads the Unicorns. Here's a 2-2. This is lifted high in the air to left, got underneath it. Verdejo makes the play for out number 1.
Next up for the Unicorns is center fielder number 24, Drew Galassi.
So now Drew Galassi, who may also feel he's due for a hit, has reached in his last 2 appearances back-to-back walks. Has been described as a power threat by Director of Player Development Willie Martin. Donovan so far has been really powering the heaters and challenging these Utica hitters that can be very aggressive. Here's the 1-0. 88 that time. Now 2-1 on Galassi. At 345 with 15 home runs his senior year of college. Hoping to find the similar power and contact here.
This is one of those situations where you don't want to do too much. Jason, it's important to keep that in your mind as you approach this 3-1 pitch because it can be so easy to get yourself dialed up and ready to go on a 3-1 fastball, but just keeping yourself within your approach, staying within yourself, obviously, like you hear quite often. That's kind of the cliche line that you hear, but maybe staying through a ball at the middle or, like I said, just kind of hitting a single somewhere gives your team a run in the lead.
Now 2 strikes on Galassi, 3 balls. What's interesting about Galassi's 2-strike approach is that even without 2 strikes, he doesn't have a stride in his swing, however, still maintains that power. Just 1 down, Hodo, the international tie-breaking runner at second. Donovan and Blom come out to get on the same page here in a big spot against a big hitter in Drew Galassi. Donovan has retired the first 7 batters that he's faced in this relief outing. Here's a payoff. And he finds strike 3 and strikeout number 5. It's now 8 up, 8 down for Charles Donovan.
That was a well executed front door slider there by Charles Donovan. Obviously not the first pitch that you would go to on 3-2 typically, but I think that could have been what the mound meeting was about with him and Tyler Blom, just figuring out what he wanted to throw, what he was most comfortable throwing. Obviously with the base open, you can go to a multitude of different pitches there, and he chose the slider, and that was a great decision, obviously, and it paid off well for Donovan.
Boy, in a pressure-packed scenario like that, meeting on the mound, and Donovan comes away successful. He has been as calm as can be. Colby Johnson swings and misses at the first pitch. "12 hits this season for Johnson, 11 RBIs. Count is now 0-2 on him. Blom has to recover there. Ball's getting past catchers, skipping away. That's been a key part of the narrative on both sides tonight. We've seen runs scored by way of that at crucial points in the game. Johnson bounces the 1-2. Keyshawn Lynch to first, and the play was made in time. Yet another 1-2-3 frame for Charles Donovan, who is locked in right now. He has retired all 9 batters that he's faced through 3 innings of work. And we'll step aside on the USPBL network. Another chance for the Beavers offense.
That you'll never fall in love. And everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. To your heart.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
A look at Jack Ferguson stepping atop the mound in the bottom of the 10th. Beavers hoping to walk it off. Ferguson 10 pitches into this relief outing. Charles Donovan retired the side once again in order, shutting down the Utica lineup to set up this offense that'll be led off by Christian LeBoy. Don't forget, we have the Autolab postgame show and our Rochester University Player of the Game coming up. This will be the final half inning of play due to the time limit, no matter what. Eric Santiago is the international tie-breaking runner at second. So one more crack at it for the Beavers in a 3-3 game. LeBoy batting .220 on the season with 1 homer. He swings at the pitch, sliced into center field. A long run for Galassi. Out number 1, the throw to second was not in time.
It's a good thing I wasn't on second there, Jason. I would have thought that was getting down off the bat. I thought for sure that was dropping in front of Galassi, so I would have been halfway to home by the time that Galassi would have ended up catching that, and I would have been doubled off.
Yeah, he had to cover a lot of ground there, and did. Santiago smartly stayed at second, and Roy Verdejo now steps up to bat now, hoping he can be the one to get the job done. And Verdejo entered today leading this Beaver team in hits. Takes the first pitch strike. Still in search of his first hit today. This would be a prime spot to find it. Ferguson comes home 0-1 and draws another swing and a miss, 0-2. Keyshawn Lynch on deck. Beavers struck first. Utica scored the next 3 runs. Beavers scored the following 2 to tie it. In the bottom of the 10th with 1 down. Runner at second, and Ferguson readying 0-2. Verdejo lines it over the glove of Hodo into right field. Here comes Santiago. The play at the plate. It is not in time. And the Beavers walk it off on a Saturday night. Birmingham, Bloomfield hands Utica a second consecutive loss in public games, and the Beavers advance to 12-20 on the season, hoping to piece together a run down the final stretch tonight. A walk-off win in the bottom of the 10th. Roy Verdejo at the heart of the celebration. A hard liner over the glove of John Hodo gets the job done. What a fun, dramatic night. I'm glad you stuck around with us. Turns out to be a 4-3 victory for Birmingham Bloomfield on a Saturday night. Don't forget, we still have the Auto Lab post-game show coming up. Jenna Rose will likely be with Roy Verdejo on the other side of the break.
About the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
When people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. To your heart.
Elite athletes want to be closer to what fuels them. So we built them a gym behind the milk section.
What's going on here?
Oh, they're training.
What? In the milk section? What is happening? What you guys are doing here?
I've always had milk in my fridge, but I've never really trained in a fridge surrounded by milk.
I feel like I've been able to level up my training and do things that others haven't.
No, they're training back there. It's a full gym.
Hey guys, keep it up.
Being close and nearby milk, it's how I hydrate, it's how I recover. It's important to be in arm's reach.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $277 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Autolab post-game show. We are now joined by Rochester University's player of the game, Beavers left fielder Roy Verdejo, who had the walk-off RBI single to win the game. You guys are tied at 3 apiece going into extra innings. What was the mindset collectively by all the Beavers bats heading into that moment?
Just not try to do too much. It stays simple. You know, everybody wants to end it off with a home run, but everybody was just like, just put the ball in play, move the runner over to score to third base, so put us in the air and game over.
You were 0 for 4 heading into that at-bat. How did you handle the pressure as you stepped into the box with Santiago on second?
Our third base coach Campy just told me just stay simple, don't try to do too much. You know, go wherever it's pitched, just react and hit it where it's pitched.
You've had to make multiple adjustments in the bats, especially for the Beavers, given that there were multiple pitchers coming in and out. What was it like for you to have to see multiple different pitchers throughout this contest?
I mean, it's hard because you try to get a timing, and a lot of pitchers have different velo. Some could be at 87, and some could be at 93. So you just got to really adjust and just attack fastball.
And lastly, what does it say about this Beavers offense to be able to pull through with this win?
It was great seeing that, you know, everybody was being patient, not chasing, getting their pitch they want and putting it in play.
You know, and I have to ask you one more question. You were absolutely soaked when you came out for the celebration. How exciting was it to share that moment with your teammates?
I love it, man. It gets the emotion that this game brings. It's really great, you know. You know, it's the downfall, it's the uprights and everything. One person having a bad day, someone may have another opportunity like this.
And it was your second walk-off in your history here as a ball player. Tell me about that.
I mean, you get these you don't get these opportunities that much because either your team's hitting well or it's not doing too well.
Well, Roy, great work today, and thank you so much for joining us on the Autolab post-game show. And thank you for joining us here on the USPBL Network. We'll see you next time.